afternoon and welcome everybody to the Chris Sweet Beveree Stadium for absolutely free live footage of today's National League South clash between Hampton and Richmond Borough and Dorking Wanderers. Just one position and 1 point separate the two teams at the top of the table. We're in for a pretty good game today, I think, Rob.
I think you're right, Matt. It's going to be one of those really great games. Conditions are right fit, the weather's perfect, pitch is looking good, players have recovered a little. This should be a good afternoon.
Thanks for joining, thanks for tuning in, and please do donate via the hrpfc.live webpage. As I say, we are producing this today totally free of charge, and any donation would be very much welcome. Hope you enjoy the game. Welcome everybody to the Chris Sweet Beveree Stadium for today's National League encounter between Hampton and Richmond Borough and Dorking Wanderers. It's a very pleasant January afternoon, it has to be said. Nowhere near as cold as it has been of late, which is always good. As I mentioned at the beginning, this makes for quite an interesting game. You've got two teams who are in 4th and 5th places respectively. You've got one position that separates 1 point between the two teams. I think it's going to be a pretty good game, Rob, by all accounts. It'd be interesting to see how the two teams line up. I mean, you were obviously at the game on Boxing Day at Dorking. What are your pre-match thoughts?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I think Gary's definitely going to have learnt a lot from the game last week at the weekend on Boxing Day. He will have definitely seen the way Dorking have been setting themselves up, and I'm sure that he's come up with quite a few ideas that will be looking to counter that, and it'll be good to see what actually he picks out.
No, definitely. I think much has been said about the home form of the Beavers. I think we've now, out of the 6 league games that we played at home so far, we've won 1 and lost 5, which is something that we say regularly on these streams. We really do need to, and Gary clearly is fully aware of it. I mean, by virtue of the fact that we already currently sit 5th in the league. I'm sure it's obvious to say that had our home form been better, we would be even higher. So it's clearly something that's often these sorts of things can be psychological sometimes, and it's a barrier that has to be broken, and there is no better time to do it than today. But I tuned into Radio Beaver for the Boxing Day game at Dorking, and Seb and yourself, Rob, mentioned a few times about how strong Dorking are as a team. We'll come on some of their players in a minute. It's going to be a really tough game for us to win today.
It is. It's not the first time, though. I mean, long-standing supporters of the Beavers will remember the fact that it's not unusual for the Beavers to have good form away from here.
Yeah.
And struggle when they get back on the pitch there. It's why it happens, nobody really knows even now. But it happens. Gary will be looking to try and resolve that, and I'm pretty sure he will eventually. And we, as you quite rightly said, if we'd turned around 2 or 3 of those defeats into at least draws, or even victories, then we'd definitely be pushing on the back of St Albans, who are currently top of the league.
I mean, it is absolutely mad how our away performances have been absolutely fantastic, and yet at home we just don't seem to be firing on all cylinders, especially in attack.
No.
And as I say, something that Gary's going to be looking forward to addressing, in either today or indeed moving forward. Sorry, slight distraction there by by a passing individual.
Actually, it was the referee's assessor.
Oh, was it the referee's assessor?
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
I know him well.
Well, of course, Rob. We'll obviously come on to the full lineups in a minute, but focusing on a couple of sort of interesting, omissions and inclusions. I think it's fair to say on both sides of the fence. I mean, today sees a return of club captain for the Beavers, Luke Ruddock, and a much welcome return for him, Rob.
We've definitely missed not having Luke in the centre of the back four. Him together with Dean this afternoon, will make a massive difference. Christian Smith, he did well in a makeshift role, but he'll be the first to admit he prefers being further up the field, breaking up play just in front of the back four. So, we're better for that. We're better for having Luke in the side, and it'll make it different there for the Dorking strikers, because they won't have experienced Luke when they played on Boxing Day. Yeah,
no, I think you're right, Rob. And there is a centre half pairing of Ruddock and Inman is as strong as it gets in this league. I think it's fair to say. And just touching on Dean Inman, obviously red carded against Dulwich on the previous game for Hampton. His suspension hasn't kicked in yet, thankfully for us. So Dean Inman does play today in defence for the Beavers, but unfortunately his suspension will kick in for Concord away on the next game. A couple of other sort of notable inclusions or indeed exclusions for Hampton. No Sam Deadfield again today. Big shame. I've been a big fan of Sam Deadfield's performances this season. I think he's been excellent for us, and I say it pretty much every week, but when Sam's not in the team, Rob, we really notice it.
We do, and I mean, he's one of those players that, at first glance, you don't necessarily notice him all the time, but you notice the absence more than you actually do him being there, for some matches. And, earlier on I was watching, doing a fitness test with Mark Finley, the physio, and also with Freddie Hyatt. And I don't think he's, by his own admission, he would say he was fit to play today.
Yep.
And that's what came out, in the fitness test. So, probably not today, but next Saturday at Concord, I think we'll see him back.
That's good. It's good to hear. A good bit of inside knowledge there from Mr. Overfield. I think just continuing on the theme of Sam. I mean, we've got a one thing that I think is noticeable with Sam Deadfield not being in the team is the impact it has on certain other players, in particular Jake Gray. Jake has to do quite a few things that he wouldn't typically be expected to do had he had Sam Deadfield next to him. So it does, in a way, take away some of Jake's sort of positives, I would suggest, and it does lead to him perhaps doing a bit more defending than he would typically be expected to do.
And I mean, that's one thing that I know Jake will do, but he again is another player who likes to come forward. He likes to be someone who, from the centre circle moves forward and gets involved at that stage of play.
Yep.
Not in the final third, but right in the centre. And the fact that he's not got Sam Deadfield alongside him will make a difference today.
Yeah, I agree.
Hopefully, whatever the lineup is, I'm sure that centre midfield will step up.
Yeah. Final, just notable starter for Hampton, David Fisher, who came off the bench against Dulwich at half-time, the previous home game for Hampton. Personally, I think loads of you that were tuning into that game would have heard me and Seb be pretty vocal on David's performance. I thought he was excellent. So, from my perspective, it's no surprise at all that we see David starting today on dual reg, I believe, Rob, from Wimbledon. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's on. Is he dual reg? There is some sort of connection with David, and
I would have to check, but
I think there is a connection of some description there.
I think there is. I would have to go and check, but he's definitely registered with us.
Yeah.
And it's great to see him actually getting a start today. And let's hope he gets a bit of luck. If he can get a goal sometime during today, or at least put in a really good shift, really good performance, and show what he's about, then that'll help him build his confidence. And who knows? Next few games he might get another start on the back of it.
Yeah. Thanks, Rob. On to Dorking. As I say, we will run through the full lineups in a little while, but a few. I mean, some littered with very, very good players.
They are.
There is. I mean, we were just making some pre-match notes, and trying to focus on 2 or 3 of the prominent ones, and you sort of go through the list, and I didn't really know where to stop. But
Exactly.
I suppose the obvious Wes Fogden, proven goal scorer of old, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, Wes Fogden's been around. I mean, let's not forget. He's played at AFC Bournemouth. He's been at Portsmouth. He's been at Yeovil Town.
Yeah.
He's also been at Hampton, Waterlooville, making over 230 appearances.
Yeah.
You don't, get to be a player playing for that level of football if you're not some good. And there's no question about it. Wes Fogden, on his day, can be the match of anyone. Yeah. Let's just hope. Fingers crossed that today isn't it.
Exactly. And I'd like to stop there on the good players for Dorking, but you can, as I say, Alfie Rutherford. Yeah. I mean, he's a really, really good player, especially for this level of football. I mean, Alfie, proven at National League South level.
He's proven at this level, and those of us who are interested in such things, back in 16-17 when he was paired with Jason Pryor at Bognor Regis Town, the two of them put 60 goals between them into the net. He knows where the goal is. Yeah. He just hasn't yet managed to get that run of form going at this level.
Yeah.
Once he gets on form and once he gets his radar working, he will score goals, but he's been in the shadow of Pryor. This is his chance.
Talking of Pryor, not made the lineup today.
No, looks like it's the injury that he sustained last week on Boxing Day down at Meadowbank. It looks like he could be out for a while. I don't know how long, but by the sound of the injury, it could be at least 3 weeks.
Wow.
So the question is now, can Dorking step up and score goals? Because Jason Pryor has got 12 of the league goals so far. The next highest scorer for Dorking, believe it or not, is Wes Fogden.
Right,
with 3 goals. James McShane, 3 goals.
Yeah.
You take Pryor out the league.
Yeah.
I mean, out the window. Where are the goals going to come from?
Yeah. Very interesting, Rob. Thank you for that. So it'd be interesting to see. We actually caught up with Gary pre-match, and I think we can cut to the recording of that pre-match interview now to hear Gary's thoughts on today's game.
Gary, but straight back into league action with Dorking Wanderers. Any team news ahead of today's game?
Yeah, Happy New Year to you too, and everyone out there as well. A little bit of team news. Made a couple of adjustments to our starting 11 today. We welcome our captain back, Luke Ruddock, today. He's been 2 or 3 weeks right on the peripheries of it and working hard. But it's a perfect opportunity with a rest week in between the 2 Saturdays now, with Slough game being off, for him to come in and and get his season up and running. Also, we bring David Fisher into the starting 11 as well. Thought he contributed massively to our performance on Monday, and I think he's deserving of a start. Looking at their selection, they've made 2 or 3 adjustments, and I'm looking at their shape. I'm not sure if they're going to play 2 up top. It looks like they are, which might see a slight adjustment to us as well. But we'll see how the game plays out in the early parts. And
then you mentioned a slight change from the opposition. How do you go about playing against the same opposition in such a short space of time?
When you've been served up with a defeat, I think you're going to try that little bit harder, aren't you? You've got that bit between your teeth. I mean, if we were playing Dulwich today on the back of our disappointment on Monday, we'd be fired up. So that in itself is a challenge. I think if you look at last season, our games against Dulwich, we beat them over there, and then they come and beat us at home. So it's tough. It's tough with a real quick turnaround, especially when you've been the victors. It's in itself, it's definitely levels have got to be raised, and we've got to make sure we get to the work rate and the other bits that's required, because there's going to be plenty of that next door. They're a quality side with quality players. I look at their starting 11 today. It's full of quality and full of experience. So we need to be at our best. It's going to be a tough ask for us, because this is our 3rd game in 7 days. If you look like there's only 2 games served up on Boxing Day. We was one of them. 3 games served up on the 28th. We was one of them. And there's only 5 games today, and we're one of them. So it's tough. It's a tough ask, especially when you've had 21 days out. But we're not looking for excuses. We're looking to try and do the double over a team that for me is still the team to finish above, because they've got an array of talent and a good manager and a club that's very progressive, and we've got to be looking to to try and get another one over them.
even if I can't do it myself. I can get supplies to those who've lost their income. I can be there for someone who's isolated. I can comfort a family after disaster. I have the power to help. And you have it too. Your donation is powerful. Give help or get help at redcross.org.uk.
Here we are, everybody. Thank you once again for joining today for the today's National League South fixture between Hampton and Richmond Borough and Dorking Wanderers. Has all the hallmarks of a very, very entertaining game. I think Dorking will be looking to make amends for the Boxing Day defeat, where Hampton came out as 1-0 winners. We shall see how today progresses, but I think we're in for a good one. Running through the teams, I think is a good place to start today, and I will start with the lineup for Hampton and Richmond Borough in our familiar red and blue shirts and blue shorts. Number 1, Alan Julian. Number 2, Captain Luke Ruddock, a welcome return for the captain today for Hampton. Number 3, Rue Donaldson. Number 4, Dean Inman. Number 6, Sam Cox. Number 10, Jake Gray. Number 12, Nico Muir. Number 14, Ryan Gondo. Number 15, David Fisher. Number 17, Tyrell Miller-Rodney. Number 18, Kyron Farrell. Substitutes for Hampton today: number 7, dropping to the bench, Wilson Carvalho. Number 9, Nathan Minas. Number 13, Miles Bowman. Number 19, again dropping to the bench, Christian Smith. And number 21, Razak Coleman. Moving on to our visitors today, Dorking Wanderers, Rob.
Yeah, Dorking Wanderers. Looks like they're lining up in what you might call a bright fluorescent green/yellow strip. And I just hope the numbers are in black, because otherwise we might have.
We are in for a Seb and I had that issue the other week actually, and it was a nightmare.
But from the numbers on the shorts are in black, so we shall just see how it goes. But it looks as if it's going to be black numbers on a fluorescent yellow/green kit. Oh dear, it's a good job we weren't looking at that just after New Year's Eve, Matt. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Okay, the lineup for Dorking Wanderers this afternoon, and manager Mark White has made some changes, and he's kept Sam Howes in goal, wearing number 13. Isaac Philpott, number 2. Number 5 is Ed Harris. Number 7 is Jimmy Mewit. 8, Matthew Briggs. 10, Alfie Rutherford. 12, Callum Kennedy. 15, Kane Wills. 16, Nicky Wheeler. 18, Luke Moore. And completing the 11 is number 23, Wes Fogden. And on the bench for Dorking this afternoon is number 3, Sam Beard. Number 4, Sammy El Abd. Number 6, Niall McManus. Number 11, James McShane. And the last of the 5 substitutes is number 20, Dan Gallagher. And our referee this afternoon is Jason Richardson.
Thanks very much, Rob. Return to the Beveree for Sam Howes in goal. Those Beavers tuning in today will obviously remember Sam from his stint with us. An excellent goalkeeper, I think it's fair to say, and it's good to see him back at the Beveree. We are obviously bringing this to you all today totally free of charge. I think we're one of the very, very few clubs that have continued to do this throughout this season. It's something that we're very proud of, the stream that we produce and provide to you guys to watch in. Clearly, it does come at a cost for us to provide this, and therefore any donations would clearly be very, very welcome. You can donate to us via hrbfc.live and click on the donate button that you will see on the first page that you get to. Any donations clearly very, very welcome, so that we can recycle the funds back into the media production here, that we can continue to invest in and bring live footage to you all at a time where, unfortunately for everybody, it's an incredibly frustrating period of time where we're unable to be in the grounds again for live football, which is bitterly disappointing, we know. But the next best thing is obviously to bring top quality live stream to your front rooms, and as I say, any donations would be very, very gratefully received. Players just coming onto the pitch now. Hampton team just in the middle doing some warm-ups, and on come the Dorking team. From a league table perspective, Rob, we touched on it earlier on. Two pretty decent starts for both teams. Hampton, I think we're going to just see it up on the screen now. You've got St Albans, Dartford and Hungerford at the top, but closely followed by Dorking and Hampton. Dorking having played one game less than Hampton in 4th position with 23 points. Hampton in 5th with having played 13 games with 22 points. Very, very close. Two very, very strong teams. Two
very strong teams, and it's the glaring stat that you see when you look at the league table is the fact that with 26 goals, Dorking are the leading scorers in the league.
Yeah.
And when half of the goals concentrated in one man, that just shows what a talent Jason Pryor is.
Yeah.
He's running away with the golden boot for the league. But as we said earlier, how will he manage without it? But personally, I think the elephant in the room is down in 7th. Havant Waterlooville, 9 games played, and yet they've got 17 points. That's the ones that everybody's going to be looking at. But today, let's focus on Hampton and Richmond. Let's focus on Dorking. 2 teams, really strong teams. As me and Seb said on Boxing Day, any team that finishes above Dorking is probably going to be either champions or is going to get promoted.
Yeah.
They are that good a side. And today, we'll see again if Hampton are ready to be in that kind of company.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, Rob. But interestingly enough, obviously, Dorking haven't played since the 1-0 defeat against us on Boxing Day. I think the game against, I'm pretty sure it was Hampton and Waterlooville, was postponed, if I'm not mistaken. So slightly fresher legs for the visitors today. But as I say, often what happens with form, as we know, is often if you have a slight break in proceedings between games, your momentum is perhaps a little bit slower than what it would be had you played in between games. So I think it's fair to say that the performance against Dulwich for Hampton was, well, certainly the first half performance anyway, was quite disappointing, I think, by anybody's admissions. And clearly with the sending off of Dean Inman in that game and the following goal, it was we were facing an upward battle to get anything out of that game. But the second half performance was much more encouraging, and David Fisher has certainly had his rewards for his performance when he came on against Dulwich, Rob, and we met again, something we mentioned pre-game. David, big game for him, I think.
Definitely a big game. He'll be definitely looking to make an impact today and show exactly the form that he's produced at AFC Wimbledon, then hopefully bring it forward for the Beavers.
Yeah. Hampton to commence proceedings today, attacking the familiar end in the first half for the Beavers. And Jake Gray ready to start the game off for Hampton. Dean Inman with the first touch for the Beavers. Out to the wing, just slightly over Rue Donaldson's head, unfortunately for Hampton. It's a throw-in for the visitors. Thankfully, Rob, they do have black numbers on the back of their shirts.
They do,
so we can actually clearly see
that's
who's.
That's going to make make it a lot easier. I know that much.
Very much so. And that was a foul, I think, nudging the back there by Ryan Gondo. Free kick to Dorking. Well, David Fisher definitely wasn't the full 10 yards there. There's no doubt about that. So I think one could argue that he perhaps deserved that because he didn't get back in time, Rob.
Yeah, you can. It's always been something about the game that I've had a bit of a problem with. If it's done deliberately by the attacking team, then I don't see where the offence has happened. But if they do it deliberately, that's different. But
Callum Kennedy with the free kick for Dorking Wanderers. Well played, Kane Wills. Slight shank out by Luke Ruddock. Brilliant to see Luke at the heart of the defence again. Rob, he's been in and out of the team this season for varying reasons, and when Luke's in the team, I think it's fair to say we are a stronger back unit. There's no doubt about that.
I think you're definitely right there, Matt. He's even his presence is worth a lot to the team.
Yeah, I agree with that. Rue Donaldson that's well covered back, but the ball has actually broken to Nico Muir. Nico Muir is through on goal. Good tracking back there by the Dorking defenders. Nico Muir, and the ball ricochets off and Sam Howes collects it for Dorking.
Yeah, that was definitely an opportunity there. Just by his own hard work, Nico managed to get that ball. And if he'd been able to look out wide, Ryan Gondo was in a ton of space over there on the right.
He was looking very clear, wasn't he? Sam Howes with the kick up for Dorking Wanderers. Dean Inman, towering header at the back.
I don't think he'll stop saying that this afternoon, Matt, to be honest.
I've lost count how many times I've said the words Dean Inman and header in the same sentence, but I can tell you for nothing, it's been, you're probably talking in the high teens, maybe. Actually, no, probably in the hundreds. I mean,
actually, there's an idea for a sweepstake. How many times do you say the word Dean Inman?
How many times Dean Inman? Yeah, well, myself and Seb and many other Beavers fans are big fans of Dean Inman and showing his quality there once more at the back for Hampton and Richmond Borough. And that's a good ball through. Sam Cox with a good covering defend there by Sam, who is filling in at right back today for Hampton. Position that Sam has played quite a few times actually, Rob, for us for quite some time now. He's a pretty sort of safe pair of hands back there.
He is. He'll never be, he'll never win many aerial drills, but on the ground he's very persistent, and he plays the right back fairly well.
That is an excellent play and turn there by, I think it was Matthew Briggs for Dorking. Pretty sure it was Matthew Briggs. Excellent play by the Dorking striker there. Alan Julian didn't seem too panic-stricken by that, so I think he was pretty comfortable. It was going wide, but created some very, very good space there, and a good turn, and a good shot. Yeah,
it's Briggs was did well to find that space, and
I think it was Briggs. Yes, it was.
Yeah, I think I'm fairly sure it was Briggs. Just waiting to see.
The referee is just called for, I think, 12. Nico Muir. Nico Muir has just put his bit of a bizarre situation now. I think Nico's gone to put a t-shirt under his top, if I'm not mistaken. And he's come back on the pitch with his red and blue shirt actually off, and the referee has actually said, "Drop back off, Nico, and come back on when I tell you to." There you go. Rue Donaldson with that's a good cutout by the Dorking defender there. And apologies for the lack of familiarisation with some of the names of the Dorking players, but we'll try our very best to name them personally as Jimmy Mewett on the right-hand side for Dorking. And that's good defending by Kyron Farrell, Rob, I think when we had Rene Steer bought in pre-season, I think Kyron would have probably felt that his position was under threat with Rene, fantastic CV, but he's done very, very well to keep his position, and he's looking better and better.
Yeah. I mean, in many respects, Kyron was having to be on the sidelines because he didn't come back in pre-season as fit as perhaps he should have done. So that was the challenge, to get back fit and also to retake his place at left back.
Yeah. Throw in for Dorking. And that's good. Good covering defend there by Tyrrell Miller-Rodney, and referee blows for a foul in favour of Hampton and Richmond.
Have to admit, it seems odd this afternoon to see Alan Julian not in his usual kit. As you can see, I mean, the orange doesn't suit him. I don't think.
I'd agree with that. Yeah, it does look a bit odd, I must admit.
I think he prefers the bright yellow that he normally wears, but as you can see from the colours that Dorking are wearing, he doesn't have a lot of choice.
Hampton 4-4-2, Rob, looks to me, formation-wise.
Yeah, it does have that. I mean,
and there's a good ball through there too, and it is Alfie Rutherford with and he's pulled it wide. Alfie Rutherford has pulled through on goal, and he pulls the ball wide. He's going to be kicking himself there, Rob.
I think he actually took the shot too early.
Yeah.
I think he could have taken another couple of strides. But credit to Alan Julian, he came out, narrowed the ankle down well, and it did go past the post, but it wasn't by a lot, a couple of feet perhaps. It was, for half a second you just weren't quite sure where it was going.
It's a wake-up call for the Beavers.
Indeed.
That was an excellent pass through by, I think it was Luke Moore. Good little touch through. Rutherford, extra step ahead. And as you say, Robbie, probably going to take another touch. But Dorking will be disappointed with that. That was a good opportunity.
Yes, it was. But going back to the formation, looking at the formation, you could even believe it might even be 4-3-3 because Rory Donaldson's playing a long way up. He's normally wing back or left-sided defender, but he's a long way up, Matt. And could you see a case for 4-3-3?
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how this play out because you're right. Rue is the Hampton number 3 is pretty.
It's pretty advanced.
Pretty advanced, isn't he? As Dorking attack once more, and there's a good cross through there and well cut out by Dean Inman. Sam Cox with a big hoof up top, and that's good defending by Isaac Philpott. Yeah, you can already see, Rob, this Dorking side, very well drilled, very well set up. No surprise that they're towards top of the table.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at some of the players, there's a lot of people in this Dorking lineup that have got professional experience. They've played at league clubs and spent a lot of time there, so of course they're going to be, definitely the better team. But one thing that you can definitely see, and you can see as we saw it on Saturday, is the speed of thought. They're thinking a lot quicker. We're just having a little bit of an issue here because we can't touch the ball. Yeah,
the ball is dropped right in front of us, but obviously under COVID rules we are prohibited from throwing the ball back, so we'll have to wait for a replacement ball to come on the pitch. But the ball is now in the hands of the throw-in taker for Dorking, Isaac Philpott, who knocks the ball, and it looks like that is going to just trickle out. Yes, it is. Good idea by Philpott, but by his own admissions, I think just slightly misplaced that pass. Kyron Farrell with the throw-in for the Beavers. Deep inside his own half. He goes out for a Dorking throw. Another Dorking throw. Jimmy Mewett with a good pass back to Kane Wills, who has just overhit that by captain Kane Wills. And it goes out for a Hampton goal kick to be taken by the ever dependable Alan Julian, who, I mean, it has to be said, I mean, he's obviously Rob, a keeper with bags of experience, Alan Julian. He's got a very, very impressive CV, but one of the best kickers of the football in the league. There's no question about that, as he fires yet another ball up to, and there's a good win there by Rue Donaldson in the end. David Fisher holds the ball up very, very well, looking for support. Back to Luke Ruddock, who knocks the ball forward, and it's cut out by the Dorking defender. David Fisher, well won back, and it's gone out to the Hampton left winger, Rue Donaldson, and I think the referee is going to give a throw-in to Dorking there, and Isaac Philpott with, I think, about the 4th or 5th throw-in in the last 3 or 4 minutes for Dorking. Yeah.
They've definitely had a few. I mean, Isaac Philpott himself has got a bit of an interesting.
Oh, and Luke Ruddock. I'm going to just cut. Luke Ruddock has just misplaced the block there, Rob, and the ball. This is a dangerous position here for Dorking, and the ball comes across. Well, I think that Luke, and I've just seen him put his hand up there. That was an error by Luke. He was caught slightly off guard, and it just goes to show you, Rob, this is Dorking are a side you cannot afford to do that very often because they will punish you.
Indeed they will, and Luke will be the first to admit he hasn't had the minutes that he would want ahead of a game as important as this against a team as good as this. So he's just going to take a little while to get up to the proper speed.
We shouldn't underestimate the fact that he's come straight into what is one of the toughest games of the season for Hampton. He's had a few games out. He can be excused to an extent in terms of having an element of rustiness, let's just say. But he'll be looking to make amends from that mistake. And the ball has gone straight, and it's gone across, and that's a very good ball across there by Kyron Farrell. And the referee, he did look offside, I must admit. But such are the rules these days. There's a delayed flag from the linesman, and it throws me every time, Rob. You sort of think, surely that was offside, and the linesman's got his flag down, and you think, hang on a minute, he's missed that one. And of course, the minute the attacker touches the ball, what happens? The flag goes up.
Yeah, it's one of the way the laws of the game's just been tweaked over the years.
I'm not sure I like it, I must admit.
Well, I have to admit it was simpler in the past, but I can sort of see why they changed it. But we just got to make the best of it. But Nico did look offside at the start.
Yeah, he did. Luke Ruddock with a good kick upfield for Hampton. And the ball comes straight back into the Hampton half. Yeah, slight tug back of the shirt there by the Dorking number. I think it was the number 10 or number. I think it might have been Luke Moore on Miller Rodney's shirt. Free kick to Hampton. Gentle reminder to everybody who is tuning in today, we are bringing this coverage to you totally free of charge, and for that, we would welcome any donation whatsoever at hrbfc.live to enable us to keep this live stream going for you guys. As I say, totally free of charge. Every penny counts, especially in the current climate, and we would very much welcome any donations that you would all be able to provide. And that's a strong tackle by Nico Muir into the Dorking defender is I think he's okay. I think Philpott is okay.
Yeah, I think.
Actually, no, it's not Philpott.
I think he will. Yeah, he's up on his feet now.
Yeah, no, he's okay.
But it wasn't the best of tackles by Nico, shall we say?
No, it wasn't. It was a strong tackle, and referee quite rightly I'll start that again. Quite rightly so gives the free kick to Dorking. Nearly 500 of you watching in today so far. Thank you very much. It is very, very much appreciated, and we hope that you're enjoying it so far. We are, of course. How long are we in, Rob?
Yeah, we've got 13 and a half minutes on the watch so far, so it's been a nice even start to the game. Admittedly, the best chance has been for Dorking, but there's plenty of the game still to go. And as we saw on Boxing Day, you can have the chances. But it's what it's the number of goals that'll win you the match. And if Dorking don't get a goal with the pressure that they have, then they were always going to be open for Hampton to sneak one in.
Replacement ball number 2 onto the pitch now, with the previous ball being spooned high and wide over the stand, just over the top of our head here. And it's a throw-in once more for Isaac Philpott on the right-hand side for Dorking. It's a good touch by Luke Moore.
I have to admit, that's one thing that it seems to be one of Luke Moore's trademarks. Just that little deflection round the from him round the defender, because he knows there'll be somebody, one of his teammates the other side to pick it up and in space. So that just seems to be something that Luke Moore seems to almost like a trademark and does it very well.
Yeah. Callum Kennedy with the corner kick for Dorking. And the referee's just pulled back. There's a bit of handbags, I think, there, Rob, in the 6-yard box. As always, all the players had their hands up. Wasn't me, ref, but it was quite clear that there was certainly at least 1 or 2 shirts being pulled. But anyway, play resumes, and Callum Kennedy with the corner kick for Dorking. He's just slightly hit that, but there's shot comes in, and it comes back into the 6-yard box, and that's You could hear Sam. You could hear Alan Julian's voice from here. Rob.
Yes.
That was his ball and his ball only.
Yeah, because you'll never be left in any doubt with Alan Julian in goal.
No,
what are we at? Some 40, 50 metres away. We're going to be all of that, and Alan Julian comes across as clear as a bell. as a defender, you're not going to be in any doubt with what Jules wants you to do.
No, absolutely right.
One thing, I was just doing the research for this, and Isaac Philpott was actually signed, would you believe it, from Cardiff Metropolitan University in the Welsh Premier League.
Well,
So it just goes to show it's not just Hampton who can pick players up from unrecognised places. I mean, you got Rue Donaldson.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
as we found out, he came from Bonnyrigg Rose in Scottish junior football. So you know, you can find good players in some very odd places sometimes.
Absolutely, and it's the beauty of a non-league game.
Oh yes.
You know, you get to see some very, very good players at this level of football, and let's be honest, Rob, they do. You know, you can tell that you can separate those that you think are going to go, or that are destined for bigger and better things.
Oh, easily you can. I mean, you know, you can also see the players that have been at a higher level.
Absolutely.
Because you can just tell that slight fraction in a difference in the speed of thought. They recognise the situation slightly fractionally quicker than what the rest of the players do, and adjust to it. You can see that, and that's something that Hampton are going to have to work on this season and trying to develop that for themselves.
Yeah. Of course, the most famous Beavers player of recent times, Jamal Lowe, knocking the ball in quite often lately for Swansea City, which is obviously never did I ever think that I would be looking at Portsmouth, Wigan and Swansea results over recent years, Rob, to see how Jamal is getting on, but obviously fantastic to see him doing well for Swansea in the Championship. Anyway, back to proceedings here at the Chris Sweet Beveree, and it's good play by Rue Donaldson there on the left wing for Hampton, and a good Cruyff turn again by Rue. Up to David Fisher, who just twists and turns there, but he's run out of space, and Rue Donaldson wanted that one back, Rob.
He definitely,
and I can see why.
Yeah, he definitely did. I mean, Rue was having to fight for that one. He was having to, really, put his weight into it. And in another part of the pitch, David Fisher would have been gone, but he was just too close to the touchline for what he was trying to do.
Yeah. It's a good header by Rue Donaldson there.
That was a very good
Hampton.
header. Yeah.
Callum Kennedy at the heart of the defence for Dorking Wanderers. Matthew Briggs out on the wing there for Dorking, putting some good pressure on, and it's Dorking throw in the Hampton half. Good tackle by Sam Cox. Ryan Gondo for Hampton. I've not said his name very often so far. Rob, he's had a pretty quiet game.
He has had a quiet game, but he hasn't yet been able to get into range of the ball.
No, exactly, and he had a very, very good game in the second half against Dulwich. He was, he really did sort of turn it on, and
he did.
He's got quality. There's no doubt about that. As Nico Muir holds the ball up for Hampton and he knocks it out. Nice ball to Ryan Gondo on the wing for Hampton. Awash with Dorking players. That's excellent defending by Dorking there. Sam Cox for Hampton trying to keep the pressure on. Gondo. That's a good tackle. Dorking deal with that very, very well indeed. And that's a strong tackle there by Jake Gray. But the ball does break to the Dorking Wanderers winger, who's attacking with pace. But that's excellent defending there by Luke Ruddock, that's a fantastic tackle by Luke Ruddock there. And David Fisher. Well,
I don't think
he wasn't expecting.
He was definitely not expecting that. If he had been, he would have easily turned that one round. And you can definitely see how quickly Dorking can break, because there was Hampton only had 3 defenders back, and there was that break coming down the left hand side. They do break very quickly. They see the situation.
They break very quickly and they defend very quickly. We were pretty clear there, and they 4 or 5 of them all round Ryan Gondo, and snuffed out the danger very, very well. Now they do look. Dorking look like a very well marshalled operation. They've got good structure, obviously good individual players. We know, and I can already see. They're a solid outfit. As the ball is back to Sam Howells in the Dorking goal. under pressure by Nico Muir-Sam with the kick out to Isaac Philpott, but it's well won in the air by Kyron Farrell. Jake Gray with the tackle, and Luke Ruddock once again with a very, very good tackle, but he's injured himself in the process there. And to be honest with you, Rob, that was a 50-50 tackle for me, and Luke has done excellently to win that, but he's okay, I think. But good tackle by Luke Ruddock.
That was, very good tackle, and it just goes to show despite his injuries, he's still willing to throw himself for the 50-50 balls. There's a few players who might have had a fraction of a second before they went for the ball and so lost it. Luke was just straight in.
Yeah. Kyron Farrell with a long sweeping ball across, and it goes out for a Hampton throw. Was that a foul, Rob? Going back to that, I mean, it was a strong challenge by both players. I guess the Dorking striker was perhaps a fraction late.
Yeah, I mean, both players were, free to go for the ball. And, when you see it, it is definitely a 50-50 ball. Whether Briggs was quite, it might have been sort of like that, fraction of a second slightly later to the ball than what Luke was. But, it's one of those, sometimes you see them given, sometimes you don't.
Ryan Gondo with the ball back to Tyrone Miller-Rodney. A good pass, out to the wing to Sam Cox. Gondo. And fails to beat the first man, and the ball is out to Alfie Rutherford here for Dorking. And it's a very, very good block by Luke Ruddock once again. And Nico Muir on the attack here for Hampton. And it goes out for a Hampton corner, and Gary's going to be pleased with this, Rob. There's some good sustained pressure here from Hampton, some good passing and some good ball winning. There
is some good ball winning. They're definitely putting the pressure back on. They're definitely pressing, as we saw earlier on in the season. They're pressing quite high up, on Dorking in in almost the home third, and that is always going to create problems for a defending team.
Farrell with the corner for Hampton. And that's well won. Ryan Gondo with the shot, and it was a tame shot. Unfortunately, he didn't quite catch that, and the ball trickles out for a Dorking goal kick.
Yeah, it was quite easy to see that Dean Inman fancied that, for a header. Yeah. He was right up there, and when you think about it, he's got a number of goals over his Hampton career from such positions, and with set pieces, you don't want to ignore him, because otherwise you'll find yourself again picking the ball out of the net.
Luke Ruddock at the back for Hampton. And Ryan Gondo does very well to win that, because he was slightly at a disadvantage there with the direction of the ball. It's well won by Dorking, and that looked like the referee hasn't given that. It looked like Alfie Rutherford had been clipped at the back there, but the referee weighs play on, and Nico Muir with some good hold-up play for Hampton, and he's just overcooked that. And it's gone out for a Hampton corner. And Gary, suffice to say, not very happy about that. I think he wanted to keep possession of the ball there, Rob.
I think he did. I mean, you could see what Nico was thinking of. Rue Donaldson did have space over here on the left. If he'd been able to pull that down, 2 touches, and he might have been able to, fire something on target. Whether he would have had time for 2 touches is another question, but the idea of what Nico was trying to do definitely was sound.
Rue Donaldson, like he'd been fouled there, and the referee has actually given the foul to Dorking, foul against Tyrone Miller-Rodney. I didn't quite see what happened there, but no, there was no complaining by the Hampton players, which often says it all.
Yeah, look, you can generally tell if there's an issue with a challenge or a free kick just by the reaction of the players a lot of the time.
Matthew Briggs in the corner for Dorking. That's a very, very good ball back.
That was a great tackle there by Rue Donaldson.
That was an excellent tackle by Rue Donaldson, doing what he does best.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have much room to work, and it was right on the edge of the box. He needed to be precise and accurate with his challenge, and it was. And okay, it's conceded a corner, but then at least it means we can defend the corner.
Absolutely. He's a man of many talents, is Rue. He's a left back by trade, but it's fair to say he's also a very effective left winger.
He is. I mean, you put him in a wing back role, or not quite a winger's role, but definitely left midfield, and he does perform a sound job.
Corner kick for Dorking Wanderers. And Rue Donaldson at the near post. well out by Ryan Gondo. The ball gets played straight back into the danger zone from the Dorking defender, but it's well won by Miller Rodney. And Hampton attack here, Rue Donaldson with a good ball up top for Ryan Gondo. Ryan Gondo marshalled very, very well there by Kane Wills. Excellent covering, defending there by the Dorking captain. And the ball is hit upfield, but well won again by Luke Ruddock at the back there. And Sam Cox for the right back position for Hampton, but it's a disappointing ball. Lucky deflection back to Hampton, and who retain possession, and Ryan Gondo slows down play. Miller Rodney with a good ball out to Kyron Farrell to enable the Beavers to build again. Farrell, good play by Kyron Farrell, knocks it into Nico Muir. Again, holds ball up very well. Very good ball out to Ryan Gondo. And that's a good effort by Ryan Gondo, but it looked like it was perhaps closer than it was, Rob. I think that was a comfortable position for Sam Howes there.
It was. I mean, it was basically good vision there to spot that Ryan Gondo did have the space. And, that was a good passage of play there for the Beavers. They kept the ball well, they passed it around, they looked for the space, they looked for where the opening was. And Ryan Gondo nearly found it.
He's good at cutting in on his left foot,
He does.
Gondo.
It's one of the things that he does like to do. He does like to sort of like almost tee up the right back, show him the outside, and then cut inside. It's it's something that he does well, and you put him in space and he'll do that all the time.
Great play by Luke Ruddock there. Once again, he's had a very, very good opening half to this first half, and that's a late lunge there by Rue Donaldson. And I think the referee, despite Rue's protest there, I think the referee has rightly given a free kick to Dorking.
Yeah, and the referee was quite firm on that.
Yeah.
I know Rue didn't like the idea, but
no, that was a foul for me. And correct decision.
I don't think there's any doubt on that one.
Kane Wills with the free kick for Dorking Wanderers. No, he's actually left it to goalkeeper Sam Howes. Like a bit of a nudge by Jimmy Mewett there on Farrell, but the referee waves play on and it goes out for a...
Yes, that was a bit of a sneaky nudge in the back there.
Yeah, it looked like it to me, Rob, must admit. But anyway, referee waves play on and it's a throw-in for Dorking Wanderers and Isaac Philpott once more with the ball in his hands. Philpotts. I think I'm going to stop saying Isaac Philpott with the throw-in, Rob.
Because what's that, 3, 4?
I think it's actually close to 10. But anyway.
It could well be, yeah.
Here he is, the man himself on the right wing, and it's a low ball, well cut out there once again by the Hampton defence, who I think it's fair to say, Rob, I think from a possession standpoint, I suspect that Dorking have certainly shaded it, but Hampton defending pretty well.
Yeah, it's definitely been some good work defensively for the Beavers, in this first, almost half hour. But it's very much like what happened down at Meadowbank. Those periods of time where Hampton were having to defend quite strongly.
Yeah.
And yet they still managed to come through it at the end. And they're going to have to do the same again here today.
One name I've not mentioned many times thus far today is actually Wes Fogden, who we all know is a danger man, but I'm not saying he's been ineffective, but he's, by his sort of standards, I certainly was expecting to be saying his name a lot more, but he certainly has got plenty of quality. There's no question about that.
He does I won't say the game's passing him by. It's just he's not being the focal point of of what Dorking are trying to do at the moment, and the longer that happens, the more Gary McCann will be happier. And I have to admit, I don't think we can complain too much about this, because that was another push.
Well, I'm with you on that, Rob. I mean, Rue Donaldson is well, I think the viewers will be able to see by Rue's body language how disappointed he was in that decision. But from where I'm sat and from where you're sat, Rob, which is 2 metres away from me, that was a Dorking foul.
Yeah, it was definitely. I think it was definitely a push. To be honest, you can't have too many complaints about that one. It just needs to just calm down on the protests, because the referee can could decide it's worth a caution, and he doesn't need that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Nico Muir. Yeah, disappointing from Nico there. He had a bit more time, and Gondo was some acres of space in front of him there on the wing, and unfortunately he's got the pass all wrong. But the ball does eventually find its way out to, disappointingly for Hampton, it's gone out for a Dorking throw. But I've been a bit harsh, Rob, and I say there's a little bit of a lack of quality up top so far.
Well, there's an element of that. I mean, Nico Muir there, he played that pass almost blind. He just took it as read that, Ryan Gondo would be in the area for that one. As it turned out, Ryan was some good 5-10 yards away from it, and he just played it blind. When those passes come off to the player that you intend them to, they look good.
Yeah.
But when it goes out like that, then it just looks poor.
Nico Muir for Hampton. It's good defending. Well marshalled out there by the Dorking defender. And it does go for a Hampton throw. Plenty of Dorking players back behind the ball here.
One thing about defending right in the corner flag, that on two sides you've got the player hemmed in. And so it's a lot easier to defend when you've got the touch line and when you've got the goal line behind you. But we're going to see if Hampton can make something of this throw.
Sam Cox for the Beavers. It's well headed out. Alfie Rutherford just loses out there. Tyrrell Miller. That looked like a push to me. The referee is way play on. Tyrrell Miller rodding the ball. Rue Donaldson for Hampton, and that's an excellent. That is a fantastic tackle there by Wes Fogden for Dorking.
He had to get in there because
and he's done excellently there.
Yeah, he had to be in there because if he didn't get that block, then I think that was definitely on target there, man.
Yeah, it was a great block by Fogden. And it is a Hampton corner. Rue Donaldson. No, it's not Rue Donaldson, my apologies. It's Kyron Farrell for Hampton. Long ball, and it's very well headed out once more by Dorking. Well dealt with. But it is back on the left foot of Farrell, who again whips it in quite high, but it's one at the back post there by Dean Inman. And I think that was a handball for... Just going back to that previous play, I think Dean Inman, there should have been someone on the end of his header there, Rob. It looked to me, I mean, Dean's won it at the back post, and you'd be expecting someone to come in and win the second ball, but well dealt with in the end by Dorking, there was an opportunity there for Hampton.
I mean, that's the kind of situation where you would expect somebody in that 6-yard box to be, snooping around looking for that kind of header back across goal. It just didn't seem to go anywhere where there was a red and blue shirt.
Yeah. Kyron Farrell with the free kick following the handball for Hampton. And it's gone straight into the hands of Sam Howes. Well dealt with by Jake Gray for Hampton. And Sam Cox under a little bit of pressure, and it's well kicked out by Alan Julian for the Beavers. Philpott. Good control by Fisher. Donaldson. And he's going to be disappointed with that. I go back to my quality point, Rob. There just seems to be a little bit missing in our offensive play thus far for me.
Yeah, they give the impression on the case it's just been a little bit hurried. I won't say they're panicking, but they're definitely hurrying along. And perhaps if they can, they need to be looking to just try and create a bit of time and space for themselves.
Now Luke Ruddock's missed out there, and that's a disappointing ball through. There was cries for offside from Dean Inman there. I must admit it didn't look offside from where I'm sat, but luckily for the Beavers, it was a bit of too much weight on the through ball. He's done excellently there. Jimmy Mewett, done very, very well there to keep that ball in, and Fogden with the ball through to Matt Briggs on the edge of the box for Dorking. Briggs, and it's fired into the midriff of Tyrrell Miller-Rodney and out for a Dorking corner.
I mean, for the last 35 minutes, we've barely mentioned Wes Fogden, and there he just provides that one little spark that created an opening for Dorking. And he's going to keep pushing through the centre the way he's going, and it's going to mean that likes of Gray, likes of Miller-Rodney are going to have to work always knowing that they've got to keep half an eye on where Fogden is.
That's a great header by Luke Ruddock. Wow, and it has cannoned off Kane Wills. I mean, what a fantastic shot. Alan Julian was, well, he was beaten. He didn't even move, Rob.
Yeah.
And it has cannoned against the post.
I have to admit, Alan Julian there was flat-footed almost. He won't like me using that phrase, but he was looking at that.
Oh, and there's ball through. Nico Muir for Hampton, and it's a good, well claimed by Sam Howes. We'll try and bring you a replay of the of that attempt by Kane Wills very shortly if we can. What a fantastic shot! And there's a clash there on the edge of the Dorking box. Hampton player is, I think it's fair to say, he's gone down pretty hard there, but. Yeah, what a fantastic shot, Rob, by Kane Wills. Very, very unlucky for Dorking.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at that, I mean, how far out was he? Was he 25 yards?
He's
at least?
25 yards.
25 yards out.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, when you look at it, he hits it well. And Alan Julian had no idea where that was going.
That's a fantastic
he was looking at it, and that says a lot about the way, that it was struck.
Yeah,
and it was a bit like on Boxing Day. Dorking hit the bar on at least one occasion, and they just didn't have any luck getting it past Alan Julian.
Yeah, we're bringing replays to you today for the first time. This is what happens when the media director isn't in the commentary seat. We go one step further and bring replays to you. Hopefully, you would all agree that it's a welcome addition to the stream service that we're providing you today. But what a shot by Kane Wills, and certainly a let-off for the Beavers. But going back to the play here, this is a dangerous position for Hampton. The referee obviously did give the free kick for the foul on, I think it was Muir. Yeah, and it was the Dorking. I'm pretty sure it might have actually been Kane Wills that got the yellow card there.
Well, he was the one that was doing the most protesting.
Yeah,
so
I think
probably think he was.
I think it was Wills, but Kyron foul for the free kick for Hampton, and it's into the wall. Well defended again by Dorking. High ball, should I say, from Jake Gray. Yeah, that was one of those classic free kicks, Rob, where it's almost a little bit too close. But it's a long ball up by Dean Inman, and again well defended by the Dorking back four. But Kyron Farrell looking to build momentum here. Jake Gray. Good ball to Farrell. And that's and it's gone straight across the 6-yard box. Well, there's got to be,
I don't believe that.
I can't believe that. I mean, that was, I'd like to. We'll try and bring you a replay of that, because that if you're a Hampton fan, you're going to want to see someone on the end of that. I mean, it's gone straight across the. Oh, dearie me. Well,
I mean, that was just one of those that was just crying out for just a contact with somebody's stud.
Yeah.
A toenail perhaps, or something like that. Just anything. And it would have been in the back of the net, and it was just one of those situations where it didn't. Yeah,
that was a bit. I think Luke Ruddock was a bit too tight there to Alfie Rutherford, and I think the referee. I'd have to say, Rob, we're 39 minutes in. I think the referee has, as far as I'm concerned, got pretty much everything right so far.
He has.
He's refereed the game very well. He's tried to let it flow where he can. He's given, he's given the fouls, in my opinion, in the right direction, and. It's always good to see. We're the first to criticise referees, but I've been quite impressed with the man in black today.
Yeah, Jason Richardson's, he's refereed it in a sensible way.
Yeah,
shall we say? He's sensible. It's been fair.
Good ball through there by Kane Wills. Wills again. We know what he's capable of, and that's a good ball through, but well cut out by the Hampton defence. And Rue Donaldson with the opportunity to build an attack, slightly got underneath it. But Nico Muir, great strength by Nico Muir there, and it's an excellent ball through by Nico Muir. And Ryan Gondo is on the edge of the box for Hampton, and it's great defending by, I think that was Fogden. It was Fogden. Excellent covering defending there by Wes Fogden for Dorking, and that was another opportunity for Hampton to build momentum, but the ball breaks here to Jake Gray. Good ball out to Rue Donaldson. Donaldson back to Kyron Farrell. Farrell is under a bit of pressure, but he does well there, foul, and the right on the edge of the box, and it was a foul. There was no doubt about that. There was a slight tangling of legs. Yeah, and it's right on the edge. I don't think there's any dispute about the fact it was on the edge. Just looking at the replay now, and it looked like it was, it's right on the edge of the box.
I suspect the defender had heart in his mouth there for a second. Yeah. He wouldn't have been too sure where the 18-yard line was.
I think you're right there, Rob.
Definitely had heart in his mouth time, but, it's one of those positions for a free kick that...
I said the other one was too close. This is even closer. And it's ever so hard to get the ball up and down from this position.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually seen free kicks, and we've all seen them where instead of getting it up, keeping it down instead. Because 9 times out of 10, the wall is somebody in the wall is going to jump.
I wonder whether when we're going to get to the stage where you have a defender lying underneath the people in the wall at this level of football, like we've seen at the more higher levels of football over recent weeks and months.
I can picture that, but I'm not sure that this is quite right.
No,
Farrell.
And wow. And I was going to say there, it was interesting that there was cries for handball, and I mean, it would have been extremely harsh if it was given, but the ball cannoned into the Dorking defender. There's no question that it hit his arm, but very, very harsh, I think, to give anything other than a play on. But there is a counter-attack now, and it is Alfie Rutherford for Dorking, and it's well tackled by Jake Gray, who is striding forward for Hampton. David Fisher with the ball for Hampton. Fisher, there's a good ball out to Nico Muir. One touch back to Ryan Gondo. Back to Muir. Tyrrell Miller-Rodney for the Beavers, looking to build play. Good 1-2 with Farrell, but the ball breaks clear to the Dorking winger, Jimmy Mewett. Jimmy Mewett just holding the ball up, waiting for support. And the support does arrive in Philpott, but it's... and that's a blatant foul. And if that's not a yellow card, then I would be absolutely amazed. Isaac Philpott with what can only be described as a cynical pulling back of the shirt there. And he's strolling off to try to avoid the conversation with the referee. But there's no doubt and the referee has already got his yellow card out. Yeah. And I think you can tell by the body language of Philpott, he knows this is coming, and this is it's going to be a yellow card.
Yeah.
Isaac Philpott.
Yeah. I don't think Philpott can have any.
Tracy Hathaway has just come over here with a tray of coffee. And this is a very, very much welcomed refreshment for the commentary team here.
I have to admit, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of the things we do without these kind of refreshments. It's brilliant to see, but that free kick, I don't think there can be any doubt about it.
No, I mean, to be fair, it's one of those free kicks, Rob, that was a good free kick and a good yellow card to take, really. He was through, Donaldson.
Oh, it definitely was past. He was past Philpott.
Disappointing free kick there from Farrell. He's got an opportunity to make amends. Here he is again, the left back, Miller-Rodney. Dean Inman up there, and it's a good knockdown by Nico Muir, and there's a scramble in the box here, and Sam Howes doing what Sam Howes does best, commanding his 6-yard box extremely well. Gathers with aplomb for Dorking.
I mean, again, that was one of those. It's just a fraction away from becoming a very clear-cut chance, and Hampton are going to have to soon take advantage of these visits that they're making into the Dorking 6-yard box, because if they don't, they're going to end up in, ruin the fact that they haven't put one in the back of the net.
Yeah, agreed, Rob. So that's a foul for Dorking. Sorry, it's a free kick for Dorking following a foul by Luke Ruddock, and it's a good ball through actually, and it goes out for a Dorking corner. Caught the Hampton defence off guard slightly there, and that was a well prepared free kick that we weren't expecting. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, you've got to this period in the first half where Hampton have to really concentrate. We're still going into time added on. We're just waiting to see what the referee has indicated to the assistant as time added on. I don't think there'll be too much. It might be 1 minute.
Yeah, there's no more than a couple, I wouldn't have thought. But Ryan Gondo here for Hampton And that's a good quick feet by Gondo. Managed to
If you
give
can see
himself a
Fisher
couple
in
of,
the
and that's a very, very good ball through. And it's Nico Muir, and Sam Howes comes out excellently, but the ball breaks back to Nico Muir, and it's under referee, and it's off. And the referee has given a penalty to Hampton and Richmond Borough following the foul on David Fisher. And he was waiting to see whether Rue Donaldson would actually finish. He didn't finish it, but the ball has been the play's been pulled back to the prior position, and it was a foul on David Fisher. And looking at it on the replay, I don't think there can be any complaints from Dorking there. And there is an opportunity now at the end of the first half, in injury time, for Hampton and Richmond Borough to score a penalty and go in 1-0 up. And I'm looking at the replay again, and there was a definite touch. There's no question about that. I don't think there can be many complaints, as I say, Rob.
No,
and the yellow card's actually been brandished there as well.
Yeah, I think it would have to be. And it would be interesting to see who gets to take this penalty. The last penalty Hampton had on Monday. Nico Muir was, his shot was saved.
It was.
It's so much that Alan Julian now is actually not looking at the penalty.
Ryan Gondo. Ryan Gondo for Hampton.
And he buries it.
And he's finished that with, that's a great penalty kick. I've not seen that for a long time, Rob. He was actually facing the other way as he was getting ready to shoot there. If you watch the replay, he was actually facing the other way and then sort of quickly turned round and slotted the ball in the left-hand side of the goal. Sam Howes dived in the wrong direction, and it's 1-0 to Hampton and Richmond Borough.
That was a well-taken penalty there by Ryan Gondo. It was, he knew what he wanted to do, and he managed to hide it well from Sam Howes. And so, we'll not have much time to play now because we're into the we've played 2 minutes of added time. There was only one indicated by the assistant. So I suspect as soon as the game restarts, the referee will call that it for the first half. And as much as was it against the run of play? Do you think, Matt? Or?
That's a good point. I mean, I think that Dorking would. Just as we say that, we can discuss that, Robert, at the in the half-time chat. But the half-time whistle has just been blown, and as you can hear from our good friend Larry with the Tannoy announcer here, it is Hampton and Richmond Borough 1, Dorking Wanderers 0. It's half-time. A very, very entertaining game of football, I think it's fair to say. Pretty even. For me, well, let's. I think that the goal, that the penalty kick was very well taken by Ryan Gondo. I think, Rob, if I was Dorking, I'd be feeling slightly hard done by that. I'm going in, one down this first half. They've had opportunities to score.
They've had opportunities. They've hit the post. They've definitely had the better. They've had the chances there, and once again, like the other day, they haven't finished them.
Yeah,
and that's what happens. Are they missing Jason Pryor, do you think, Matt? Do you think
there is a case for that, I think.
Do you think they're missing him, or is he just, or is it just incidental? Because as we said before, Alfie Rutherford, is a proven striker in his own right.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely.
Is the loss is having Pryor missing, hurting them in some way?
Yeah, we're going to quickly go to an ad, and then we're going to come back for a bit of analysis from my good friend Rob to my left-hand side and myself. So quick ad, and we'll see you very shortly.
We tell stories that matter.
You're listening to
We know what makes fans tick.
The whole team is supported by the whole town.
We know it's about dedication, about history, about community. Here, there, and everywhere.
It's going down.
Sometimes it's about boots. Sometimes it's about clothes. Sometimes it's just about getting away. We know what they watch. We know where they go. We know what they love. We know it's not always easy connecting with fans, but we know how to help. And we know because that's what we are. Fans.
Well, that was quite an enjoyable first half, Rob.
It was. I mean, it was. I think if you looked at it in terms of possession, Dorking would definitely feel they had the upper hand. But as we said before, before the half-time whistle went, they had the chances and they just haven't converted them.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think that, there is. I've mentioned it just as the players were going off the field of play. I think I'd be pretty disappointed if I was on the Dorking side. There's no question about that. I mean, the quality across the pitch. There's some individuals there that are just quite frankly excellent players, and I felt for me that especially at the beginning there, I think it was 5, 6, 7 minutes in, whatever it was, when Rutherford was through. You mentioned it, Rob. Could have taken an extra touch. I mean, that was a golden opportunity for Dorking to take the lead, and everybody knows in football you've got to bury your chances. And I wasn't at the Dorking game on Boxing Day, but it seems to have similar types of features, Rob, in the whole sort of the importance of burying your opportunities is paramount, as we know, and Dorking haven't done that again.
I think if you were to look at the stats from the Boxing Day game to this one, I mean, it's not hard to see that Dorking did have the greater number of chances, the greater number of opportunities, by the way that Alan Julian was quite clearly and deservedly man of the match on that afternoon, and that was very much a case of getting the chances and not converting. Excuse me.
He's lost it. Look.
Dear.
Have some of the coffee that our good friend Tracy Hathaway has
shall.
brought over to us.
But it's a case of you can have the chances, but if you don't finish them, you're going to get punished. And Dorking have been punished again. The goal on the bank on Monday, the penalty this afternoon, they're all chances that 9 times out of 10, you wouldn't be too concerned about, because you'd know you were getting chances at the other end. But by the fact that the chances are not being picked up by Dorking and not converted, they're always going to be a bit on the back foot, because now it puts pressure on them. They've got to go forward. They've got to try and do something different to try and break through past Alan Julian. Yes, they've nearly done it, but nearly's not cutting it.
Well, this is it. I mean, extremely unlucky for Dorking with the Kane Wills effort.
Yes.
What a fantastic strike by the captain for Dorking. I mean, Alan Julian was grounded. There is no way he was making that. And,
no.
It cannoned off the post, and a lucky escape for Hampton.
I mean, you heard the post rattle. It was struck with some power, as we saw, and when those go into the top corner, it's instantly up there for goal of the season. It's instant, definitely goal of the
and it has cannoned off
like that. Perhaps Dorking would be a little bit disappointed there was nobody to follow up the second ball. Get the rebound. You could get the rebound, because when in that kind of situation, you would hope there's somebody there in the box who's going to give you a chance of getting that. And the fact there was nobody there to do that, it meant that it gave Hampton a bit of a breathing space.
Yeah, no, I agree, Robin. I think one thing that certainly has been pretty sort of paramount for me is the defensive performances for both teams. I think it's been very, very good. I really do. I mean, the return we mentioned in our pre-match analysis, the return, or the importance of the return of Luke Ruddock, and he did make one error at the back, relatively early on, but he's certainly made amends for that. I mean, I think he's looked pretty strong at the back there, Robin. He's put some good tackles in, and he just goes to show the importance of having your club captain in the starting 11.
I mean, there's no question about Luke's defensive, his defensive abilities, because they're second to none. And when he's fit, I'm pretty sure he's almost, if not the first name down on the team sheet, definitely the second after Alan Julian. So he's an important part of that Hampton defensive unit. And you can actually see the difference it is having somebody who knows to play the position. Yeah. As I said, we're not pulling down Christian Smith on this, but Christian would be the first to say that he prefers being further forward. We can see that Luke and Dean have got a good partnership there, and now they've come back together. That is now, the rebuilding, the communication between the two. And it's going to get stronger as the match goes on. Just let's hope that he can stay fit for the 90 minutes.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, Robin. Hampton have been getting some quite a lot of joy down the left-hand side. I mean, Farrell and Donaldson, there's far more of the play down the left wing than there was down the right wing. You know, we mentioned about the fact that Gondo had a pretty quiet sort of first half of the first half, but obviously then certainly grew into the game as sort of time went on. But you know, there are some. Yeah, I think both. Well, I'll ask you the question. Well, if you're Gary McCann, are you happy now? I mean, obviously we're winning the game 1-0. It's half time. Are we lucky to be 1 up? You know, possibly. You know, maybe a draw would be the most sort of accurate reflection of the first half. But nonetheless, we are 1 up. You know, are you happy? I think you pretty much are, because you always are when you're winning the game.
Of course.
But you know, you cannot ignore the fact that this Dorking side have got goals in them. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, no question. I mean, yeah, you're going to need the likes of, you know, Fogden, Rutherford, and, you know, a lot of the established players to come to get into the game for Dorking to get the goals. But I think if I was Gary, yes, I'd be content with the position we're in, given the fact that there's been periods of play where we've definitely been second. I don't think anybody's going to argue on that point. But he'll definitely, you know, Gary being Gary, will have something he's not happy about. And, you know, centre of midfield, we've had to work hard. We've not really been as creative possibly as we could be. But again, is that the loss of Sam Deadfield?
Yeah, that's
you've got to think of that. And it's definitely looking like we're playing 4-3-3, because Rue Donaldson is pretty well advanced. He's pretty much playing as a, you know, I mean, what would you call it in Football Manager terms?
Well, and AML, he definitely is. You're absolutely right. And there's what is quite interesting to see as well is that Miller Rodney and Jake Gray, there's not one of those two that are more defensive than the other. They are a very much a central midfield partnership. Yeah. I mean, often when you see Miller Rodney play, he sort of plays the Claude Makelele sort of Jorginho type role in front of the back four, but he definitely is in a more orthodox sort of central midfield role alongside Jake Gray. I actually think that both Miller Rodney and Jake Gray have had good first halves. They've done pretty well there, and I think it'd be interesting to see how Hampton, you know, what we do second half from a tactical standpoint. I mean, we? You know, I think I'm not a big fan of sitting back and holding out for a 1-0 was always a very precarious scoreline, as we all know.
Yeah,
and,
very.
You know, you've got to. If I'm in Gary's shoes, I'm thinking, you know, that you've got to go out for the second, right?
I would. It'll definitely make the position of, you know, within the game stronger. No question about that. Yeah. But when you look at the possibilities he's got off the bench, I mean, if Ryan Gondo or Rory Donaldson, you know, tire out, he's got Wilson Carvalho to throw on.
Yeah, Carvalho is
exactly. I mean, he's the kind of player.
And that's a very, very good ball through. And it's Nico Muir, and Sam Howes comes out excellently, but the ball breaks back to Nico Muir, and it's under referee, and it's.
He would do that. There's no question about that. But yeah, he can also play in the centre. I mean, you've got Nathan Minas. Again, if David Fisher tires, you know, just through lack of match minutes, throw Nathan in. Nathan in. And we mustn't forget Razak Coleman. He, you know, again, he can another one who can play in one or two different positions.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, primarily I think he's a central player, but yet, you know, he can still have an impact in this game.
He's got a lot to prove as well.
He's got a lot to prove, and you know, in the situation that we are at the moment, is this the contest for him to show himself? It's a big game, so we'll have to wait and see what Gary thinks as the half goes on.
Yeah. No, I agree. Totally agree with that, Rob. Thank you. Thank you all for tuning in. I think we had 600 odd viewers at one point in that first half, and you know, we thank you all for joining in. We really do. I mean, as I mentioned a couple of times in the first half commentary, we are clearly providing this to you free of charge, totally free of charge. And you know, for a number of reasons, we think that that's the right thing to do in the current circumstances. Obviously, it involves a lot of time and effort and money to do this, and you know, anything you are able to donate to the cause, as it were, hrbfc.live, and click on the donate button. It genuinely is incredibly appreciated, even if it's a cost of a cup of tea or a programme or anything. Exactly. You know, we truly do reinvest the proceeds that we that we do generate in. I mean, we bought new microphones, and you know, it's you know, we're trying to expand as much as we can, as I say, even if it's only a couple of quid, anything you can spare to enable us to continue to provide this free of charge would be greatly appreciated. I should also mention, I think it was the Dulwich game. We obviously did a fundraiser for the Trussell Trust, the food bank. Yep. We raised over £1,000 from that, which I know that, Seb obviously isn't here today, but big driver behind that, and on behalf of Seb and the fellow directors of the football club and everybody at the football club, we truly thank all of you that were able and kind enough to donate to. I'll say that again, to donate to that. That sort of money, over £1,000 for a food bank cause like that is just, it's extraordinary. Really.
It is extraordinary, and it just shows, yes, you guys out there that are, they're watching this afternoon, we're doing it, but we couldn't do it without you guys on the other end, to watch and to appreciate what we do. Yeah. We're doing it for yourselves, and the fact that yourself and guys from Dulwich as well, we've raised £1,000 for a cause that in this day and age is probably one of the more important causes locally for everybody, up and down the country. Yes, it's a national issue, but there are also local fundraising efforts like this that will help. And we've helped so many. We helped ourselves with the beaver boxes. We've helped the Trussell Trust as well. There's a lot of people are now going to have a slightly better period of time over Christmas and the New Year on the back of what you guys have done. And for that, we thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks, Rob. We're going to have a quick cut to another quick ad from our match sponsors today. And following that, we are going to be going straight to the second half of what makes for, I think it's going to be an exciting one.
I think it is.
And we shall see. But quick ad from our sponsors and then back to the second half action.
Dave, look at you, mate.
Welcome back to the second half of this live free stream of Hampton and Richmond Borough versus Dorking Wanderers in the National League South. It's fifth versus fourth, and it's 1-0 to Hampton and Richmond Borough, following a injury time penalty kick from Ryan Gondo. Quick recap of the starting 11.
Yeah.
I will just quickly rattle through the Hampton starting 11 very quickly. Number 1, Alan Julian. Number 2, Luke Ruddock. Number 3, Rue Donaldson. Number 4, Dean Inman. Number 6, Sam Cox. Number 10, Jake Gray. 12, Nico Muir. 14, Ryan Gondo. 15, David Fisher. 17, Tyrell Miller-Rodney, and 18, Kyron Farrell. And the visitors, Rob?
Yep, they've got Sam Howes in goal, Isaac Philpott wearing 2, Ed Harris wearing 5, number 7, Jimmy Mewett, number 8, Matthew Briggs, 10, Alfie Rutherford, 12, Callum Kennedy, 15, Kane Wills, 16, Nicky Wheeler, 18, Luke Moore, and 23, Wes Fogden. Away from Beveree this afternoon, there are 4 other matches going ahead in the National League South. Just started in the second half at New Lodge Billericay, and it's 0-0 between themselves and Concord Rangers. At the Melbourne Stadium, it is Chelmsford City 0, Braintree 2.
Wow.
Well, that's a
called
surprise.
That one.
I would definitely not have called that one. And both those 2 Essex clubs are struggling at the bottom of the league. A Kent clash now down at Dartford, where it is Dartford 0, Ebbsfleet 0. And to finish there on the south coast, it is half-time at Havant, and the score there is Havant and Waterlooville 2, Hungerford 0.
Well, there you go. You mentioned Havant being the elephant in the room, I think you called them, Rob, and they I think this is the 10th game they played. I mean, Hungerford are no walkovers, there's no doubt about that. And Havant, I think, are in 7th, having only played 9 games.
Yep.
You know, they are certainly the dark horses in this Vanarama National League South table. In my view, I think that they are. Well, we've seen Dorking today and the quality of Dorking. Yet to see Havant this season, but certainly they, you know, amongst sort of Dorking, Havant, there's some strong sides up there.
There is some very strong sides up there. And let's not forget Hungerford themselves are in
they're third, aren't they?
They were third.
Yeah,
were third.
There is a substitution, and it looks like it is a substitution for Dorking. Yes, it is. And when we can see the numbers, here we go. So Jimmy Mewett is off. So in case you didn't catch that from the Tannoy announcer, it's number 7 Jimmy Mewett is off for Dorking, and he is replaced by number 11 James McShane, as Dorking are ready to kick off proceedings in this second half at the Chris Sweet Beveree Stadium. Hampton Richmond Borough 1, Dorking Wanderers 0. And we've in for another entertaining 45 minutes, I feel.
I think we are, and we can definitely expect to see a lot of Dorking in Wanderers pressure. They'll definitely not be happy about being a goal behind, and I'm sure Mark White has, you know, definitely had some words in the dressing room. He'll not be happy again, but you know, such is the way of it.
Well, Nico Muir, very early on here, Nico Muir has tried to sort of twist past defender. He went down relatively easy, Rob. I think the referee's made the right call there. That didn't.
I think he has.
Yeah.
I think he has. It would have been a harsh call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's done very, very well there. Kane Wills again for Dorking to just sniff out any danger. Nicky Wheeler on the wing here for Dorking Wanderers. Outside of the boot, pass down the wing to Alfie Rutherford. Rutherford with a sweeping pass right across the right wing, and there is a good opportunity here, and the ball just goes on the floor, driven across the goal, and it goes out for a goal kick.
That was a definite opening there.
It was an opening. I mean, you know, the Dorking winger was pretty far away from it at the far post there to get any sort of touch on it, but early warning indicator, I think, for the Beavers once again. Yeah,
and as well as the substitution of Niall McManus, we also saw Kane Wills being taken off.
Has Wills gone off as well?
So the substitutions were Kane Wills and Jimmy Mewett coming off for Niall McManus and James McShane. The loss of Kane Wills is going to be something that
you just took the words out of my mouth. I thought he was one of the best players on the pitch, Rob, in that first half. I really did. I thought Kane Wills was excellent. So I can only assume that would be an injury, because I can't think of any other reason why Dorking would have made the decision to take off Kane Wills, because I thought, you know, he was the linchpin in the midfield for Dorking.
He was, and yet he didn't look as if he was injured at any time. That's the thing. You know,
he did pick up a yellow, so maybe they're protecting him for that. But it does seem a little bit strange if you're 1-0 down against a fellow title contender. But Tyrrell Miller-Rodney with some good battling play in the midfield, and the ball is in the safe hands of the Hampton and Richmond goalkeeper Alan Julian.
I mean, when you look at it, you know, McShane and McManus for Wills and Mewett, I definitely think that is them. You know, that's Dorking weakened a little. You know, that's not to say anything against McManus and McShane, but when you're losing Wills, I mean, Kane Wills, you know, we know his ability, we know what he's capable of, and you know, he's played a lot of, you know, for a lot of clubs over a lot of years. He's a quality player.
Yeah, agreed.
And not have him there in the centre is going to make it hard for Dorking.
Gondo, good turn of pace for Hampton, wins the ball. Overlapping run by Sam Cox, just cut out, but Sam Cox does very well to win that, and he goes into the Dorking. He's just slightly overran that. Frustratingly for Hampton, Sam Cox just took an extra bit of a thick touch on it, and gave the opportunity for the Dorking defender to get a ball, get his foot on it. But it does go out for a Hampton corner, and a pretty dangerous position here for the Beavers. Sam Cox with the throw. Yeah, Donaldson, he did very well there, Rob, Rue Donaldson. I know we are slightly obscured by by some of the stand here, but Donaldson, quite clever play there. Tried to sort of turn the defender and almost sort of play for the free kick.
I mean, really, you know, he wasn't left with a lot of options, wasn't Sam Cox? Basically, the throw had to go to Rory Donaldson, and for Rory to actually, you know, win the free kick in that situation, he's done very well. You know, he had to be strong. He had to make sure that he was at least there in for the ball.
Yeah.
And he's got a free kick in a very good position.
Kyron Farrell once more over the ball for Hampton with his sweet left foot. And it's good. It's a good free kick, and it's a good header out by the Dorking defence. Luke Ruddick on the left wing for Hampton with a good ball through, and it's well won at the back post by Dean Inman. Whoa, that was close.
I mean, that's what you want Dean Inman up there in the box for, and hanging around after set pieces. Although I'm not entirely sure that Sam Howes didn't get the hand on that.
It looked like it.
It
did look like he did.
Very
but
much like that was Sam Howes, you know, tipping it over.
Yeah.
The referee gave a goal kick, but the players didn't complain too.
David Fisher for Hampton. Hampton have started off this second half well, Rob.
They have. They just need to do something with all this.
Fisher with the ball, and Sam Howes underneath his crossbar does very well to claim that. Luke Moore for Dorking. Wheeler. And Luke Ruddock with it all. It's broken here, and it's a great ball across. Slightly too long, and I think Kyron Farrell is gonna let that one go out for a Hampton goal kick. Yeah, no, I think Hampton started well, Rob. For me, apart from the early scare from Dorking, I think that it's been a pretty good start to proceedings. What are we in? 5 minutes or so in, 6 minutes in.
It's definitely been a good start, but they need to build on that. They need to start, you know, looking to play how they want to play. And to me, I would be looking to, you know, use the likes of, you know, Gondo and Donaldson, use the flanks, you know, stretch the back four a little, because yes, you've got Nico Muir in there, you've got David Fisher in there, and you know, there's always possibilities breaking forward for the Beavers.
Gondo for Hampton. Ryan Gondo does very well there, but that's some very good defending once again from Dorking left back. Dean Inman, header. There you go, Rob, I've said it again. Miller Rodney with a good interception for Hampton. And that looked like a tug on his shirt, yeah, and he's gone down, and the referee has given that, and it's another free kick for Hampton in what you would certainly describe as a dangerous area, but once again, Rob, it's very close to the goal again, and it doesn't make for a particularly straightforward free kick.
I mean, that's only two or three yards outside the box. It's just pretty much level with the D, as we can see. Yeah. So you know, this it makes it interesting, you know, for whoever's taking the kick. And you know, taking the kick looks to be Kyron Farrell. Yeah, Farrell.
He does seem to be the preferred free kick taker in the absence of Deadfield.
I'm just wondering if he'll just try and play this one round that left-hand side of the wall as we see it, and try and get.
Yeah, he did try exactly that. Once again, the Dorking wall stands firm, and it's certainly done its job. And that's well played. And Wes Fogden is in acres of space here. Where is the Hampton midfield? And it's great covering back by, I think that was David Fisher. I might have got that wrong, but nonetheless, great tracking back. But Rob, that was and David Fisher. I'm going to just pause there and we'll come back to that. David Fisher for Hampton on the ball, and he's in good space. And David Fisher has a go, but. Yeah, for me, he's got to pass that. But anyway, he's had a go, and the ball is back to David Fisher on the left wing for Hampton and Richmond Borough, who are putting together some pretty good passage of play here. But yeah, where were the Hampton midfield back then, Rob? Fogden was in acres of space.
Yeah, it just demonstrates what we've been saying. They break very quickly. They see they see what the opportunity is, and they move into Dorking. That's one thing that, the speed of thought, and they're so well drilled as a unit. They know exactly what they want to do, and they know that if they can break quickly enough, they've got a good chance.
Muir. Oh, and it's a side netting. Nico Muir. Now, that is a side of Nico Muir's game that I think his strength in holding the ball up and being able to swivel, create space, swivel and shoot is, the guy's got quality. We all know that, and he's had I wouldn't say a stop-start season. That's very, very harsh on Nico Muir. But, he's, by his own admissions, I think is not up to the dizzy heights of where he can perform. And, he did very, very well there to turn and get the shot on target. And unfortunately for Hampton, it did hit the side netting. But Luke Ruddock for the Beavers knocks back to Alan Julian in the Hampton goal. And another good kick by Julian. Good header by Fogden. And there... Yeah, it looks to me like Briggs. Yeah, it is Briggs, and it's Kyron Farrell has done excellently there to get a foot in to put the ball out, because Briggs was motoring into the Hampton penalty box, Rob.
He was. Briggs does have a turn of pace. We've not seen it much this season, but this match, should I say, but he does have pace, and you could see how much Kyron Farrell was having to work to actually just be able to get the foot to the ball.
Corner kick for Dorking. Well out by Dean Inman. And that's a crunching tackle. David Fisher's lost sight of the ball there. Nicky Wheeler running on the left-hand side, and there's a good and he's diverted the attention here, but Sam Cox that's well defended by Hampton. Some good movement there from the Dorking attack there to confuse. Well, it certainly confused me, and I'm a commentator, so it would certainly confuse Hampton defence. But some good movement from Wheeler in particular. Dorking with the ball right in the corner.
I mean, it's not that long ago since there was EFL clubs looking at Matthew Briggs, and you could see it.
Yeah,
he's just got that something that if the chance had come to him earlier in his career. Yeah. He could easily have been playing League One. Yeah,
we mentioned earlier on about you can just tell that certain players have got quality, and Briggs he's certainly stood out for me so far. Dorking on the attack once more, but Ryan Gondo hooks the ball clear to Nico Muir up top for Hampton, who a rather fortuitous control there, but anyway, he's done very, very well. And Nico Muir holding up play, and he's going down the wing. There's a good covering play there by the man Briggs again, Rob. It just goes to show the quality of his game. I mean, we spoke about him in the previous Pasture play there in attack, and there he is, playing in the defensive midfield position, mopping up for Dorking.
I mean, usually Briggs is a winger, but it looks like he's having to play a defensive role this afternoon for Dorking, and getting the impression that he's having to do some more defensive work than really what he would prefer to be doing.
Yeah, that was a right decision from the referee once again, and it's a Dorking free kick.
Yeah, I don't think Jake Gray could have any issues with that.
No, agreed. Luke Moore for Dorking. McManus. Good ball from McManus. Nicky Wheeler, and that's good defending.
That was good.
Dean Inman at the back.
Yep. Dean saw, what the issue was going to be, and he covered it very nicely. Definitely Dorking they seem to be wanting to, play the ball down the flanks a lot more than what they did in the first half.
Yeah. Wheeler with the throw-in for Dorking Wanderers. Desperate to get back in the game and score the goal. Certainly had opportunities to get on the score sheet today, Dorking. There's no question about that. In fact, both teams have. Obviously Hampton have scored the one goal, but there's been a fair few opportunities for both sides this game.
Yeah, there has, and Hampton will be thinking that they could have converted one, or at least another one of them. Dorking definitely will be thinking that they should have at least one goal on the score sheet, but they haven't managed it yet, and there's still a long way to go yet. There's still well over half an hour to play.
Well won, and it's a good save by Alan Julian there. It is at his near post. I think that he'd be disappointed that there was no Hampton defenders there to challenge the Dorking striker.
Yeah, and
nonetheless,
we've it's another corner here for Dorking.
Indeed. And the ball, and it's a free header. And, wow, it's a free. Well, Alfie Rutherford has got a free header there, and he's done it excellently to sort of knock it on to the far post, and it's a fantastic save by Alan Julian. But from a Hampton standpoint, you've got to be challenging those headers, Rob.
You do, and I mean, I suppose Alan Julian will think of that as a bit of a bread and butter save for him. But truth be told, he shouldn't have had to have made it. There should have been somebody covering.
Sustained pressure here from Dorking. Wheeler. Good ball, and it's good defending. But it's hooked forward, and finally Hampton and Richmond can take a breather, because that was a relatively nervous passage of play there for the Hampton faithful. Nonetheless, the Beavers did well to weather the storm, and it's a goal kick from Alan Julian. But it's knocked back upfield. Luke Ruddock. Philpott for Dorking. Luke Ruddock mopping up once again for Hampton. Strong challenge there. It's gone out for a Hampton throw. Kyron Farrell for the Beavers. 60 minutes gone, half an hour to play. Hampton and Richmond 1, Dorking Wanderers 0. It's Vanarama National League South fixture. Reminder, anybody who wishes to donate to the cause today, obviously we're bringing this stream to you free of charge. hrbfc.live, click on the donate button. Anything welcome, couple of quid, whatever. Cost of a coffee that you would normally buy had you been here in person. Obviously we're not charging today, and we would very, very much appreciate anything you are able to donate today to enable us to continue to bring this live coverage to you free of charge for the remainder of the season, or certainly for the period of time that fans aren't allowed in to the ground. Miller Rodney for Hampton. Ryan Gondo. He's gone down pretty easily there, Rob. I mean, dare I say it, he's played for that.
He has a bit, but he knows that if he plays it like that with the sizable presence that is Luke Moore, a lot of the time the referee is going to give it to him. And yes, it's a bit professional. Yes, some people might frown at that, but a free kick's a free kick when all is said and done.
I couldn't agree more. Kyron Farrell, who's taken pretty much every single free kick and corner for Hampton today. Good ball up top, and it's comfortably collected by Sam Howes in goal for Dorking, with a very, very good throw out to Nicky Wheeler, who takes an excellent touch on the ball, knocks it forward to Rutherford. It's well defended there by Sam Cox, and it actually goes out for a Hampton throw. Good defending by Sam Cox, who's had a good game at the right back there today, I would say.
He has had a good game, and sometimes I think we occasionally understate actually how well Sam Cox can cover it in right back. We all know him as a defensive midfield presence, but he has picked up the playing of right
Luke,
back very.
Yeah. Now that was an incredibly strong tackle, let's just say, by Luke Ruddock, and the Dorking bench, let's just say, aren't very happy. I mean, I can only assume we're going to see a replay of this now. I mean, it was a very, very strong tackle. The begging question, Rob, is was that two-footed? The referee has not given the foul. He's obviously considered it to not be dangerous or not two-footed, but it had all the hallmarks of the Christian Smith tackle against Dulwich. We all know what those that were tuning into that game would have remembered that very well. I mean, Christian got the yellow card on that one. There were calls for a red on that, but that was was that a dangerous tackle?
Yeah, it was one of those that in a different circumstances you could definitely call it as one, but the referee's made his call, and basically if the referee hasn't called it, then it isn't.
Isaac Philpott being substituted for the visitors today, and he's being replaced by number 20, Dan Gallagher.
Well, that's all the 3 substitutions used there for Dorking now. They've still got 20, just over 25 minutes left to play. Hampton have not yet made a substitution, so it's going to be,
we've got a couple warming up.
We have,
but it doesn't look like they're anywhere.
No, they won't be.
No.
I mean, one thing watching Gary and his policy and substitutions, he very seldom makes them much before the hour mark. But you can see now he'll be able to have a few moments to assess how Dorking have adjusted to the changes and the substitutions.
Oh, and there was a stumble over the ball, let's just say, from I think it was Luke Ruddock, which has led to rather embarrassing stumble over the ball there, but I'm sure he didn't mean it. But anyway, Dorking are in possession of the ball, and there's a good, and it's well cut out once again there, and it's a penalty. Yeah, it's a penalty for Dorking. And it was Luke Ruddock late there. I don't think there can be any complaints from Luke. He was looking like he wasn't going to make that ball, and he's gone for it. And for me, that's a penalty, Rob.
I mean, if you think about it, it all comes back, to the missed header or stumble. I think he was trying to head it right close to the ground, was Luke originally, and then the ball broke to Dorking, and it ended up in the box, and he was having to try and pick up, the mistake. And in
Luke
the end,
Moore.
It's the penalty.
Luke Moore penalty, and Alan Julian has saved the penalty for Hampton and Richmond Borough. I mean, he's gone down to his bottom right, and it's a fantastic save from Alan Julian. We're not out the woods just yet. The ball is across, and it's a good effort, and it cannons off the Hampton defender out for a corner kick. Well, what a save by Alan Julian.
It was a good save, but it was not a good penalty.
No, it was too close to the middle, I would say, Rob.
To him. It was, it was in that place where you're going to expect the keeper to get it. It was neither central nor in the corner. It was in between.
Alan Julian, once again, saving the day for Hampton. I mean, he's a class act, Alan, we all know that, but what a fantastic save. And there's a good header out by the Hampton defender. Good effort, and it has hit the post, and it has gone in off the rebound. And where was the covering? Where was the defence, Rob? I mean, the ball is...
They're guilty of ball watching there in some respects, Hampton, because the ball came through the crowd of players, it hit the post, and everybody looked flat-footed. They looked as if they were trying to work out what was going to happen.
Julian has tipped the ball onto the post, and I think everyone was expecting the ball to go out, but it's come off the post. And in fairness to Dorking, they were the only ones that reacted to it, and not a single Hampton player has tried to mop the ball up. And sorry for if you might have caught any of the swear words there, but that was the Hampton number one, let's just say, voicing his frustrations at what just happened. But well, I'll catch my breath in a minute, Rob, but we are now 1-1 following the penalty miss from Dorking Wanderers and the very quick goal off the back of that, and it's Hampton and Richmond 1, Dorking 1, and I think it's fair to say, on balance, Rob, it's pretty much deserved that Dorking are back in this.
Yes, they've definitely had the opportunities, they've had the possession, they've created the chance for themselves, but Gary
Miller-Rodney has pulled him back.
About the lack of reaction from the original attempt.
He won't be happy. Miller-Rodney is another cynical foul from Miller-Rodney. Very similar characteristics to the Philpott pull back in the first half, and I think we're going to see a yellow card brandished here to the Hampton number 17.
I think that's a fair call, given the way the referee called Philpott in the first half for that. But we've just seen it again, and Hampton just did not react. They were just caught ball watching. They were just caught static.
Yeah, they were, Rob.
And there should have been somebody who was alert enough to at least be tracking the ball. And when it came back into the box, there was yellow shirts and not many red and blue ones.
Yep.
Yeah, Gary will be very disappointed with that.
I agree. Luke Moore. No, it's not Luke Moore. It was actually Callum Kennedy with the short free kick for Dorking. Good defensive play there from Donaldson. I think the referee, the linesman's flag for offside there. Rob, looks like, offside.
Yeah, offside. Offside and pretty much in front of him as well. So that's not going to be an offside that the assistant's going to miss on that.
This is going to be an eventful last 20 minutes because there is no doubt in my mind. I mean, it's obvious to say this, but both teams are going to want to win this. Both teams are going to be out to get the second goal, and you know, Dorking, I think it's fair to say, look well up for this now they've got the goal. I mean, it's as always the case, getting the goal that draws you level. You know, you do get that extra oomph, and they certainly seem to be looking to capitalise on this and push for the second.
Yes, I mean, it's kind of thing that Hampton are going to be pushed on the back foot with. You know, they've been holding on quite comfortably. They've, you know, thankful to Alan Julian for making the penalty save. And now with conceding the goal, they're going to be rocked on their heels a little, and Dorking are going to be pressing forward with renewed confidence.
Yeah.
Hampton now need to, you know, assert their position in the game. They need to start showing the reason why they're up in the playoff places.
Yeah, short pass there, and Miller Rodney's done well to win that back, and it's a good ball out to Ryan Gondo for Hampton. Gondo. And it's a good save by Sam Howes. And once again, Hampton second to the rebound.
Again, that's the kind of position where you would hope there was a midfielder coming up to just to leather it first time, but again, they were a bit slow off the mark.
Wheelers and acres of space on the left wing there, Rob.
He was.
And Rutherford is, I think Rutherford, he's acknowledged, I think, that the ball was Wheeler on the wing.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, there was opportunity there. If they could have got the ball out to Wheeler, he was in space, and you know, Sam Cox would have had some work to do.
Nico Muir for Hampton. Muir, good effort, good block. I think that's Briggs. Briggs again with a turn of pace. Yeah, now the referee, yeah, it's frustrating. The referee's pulled the game back, and rightly so. There was certainly let's just say a pullback, but I think the ref is going to give a yellow card here.
Yeah, I don't think Nico can have too many complaints on that one again. Slightly professional, because he knew that might not be a lot behind him, you know, to cover, and so he's. You know, you can almost see he took that one for the team.
Yeah, I think you're right, Rob. Free kick to Dorking. Hampton and Richmond 1, Dorking Wanderers 1. 20-odd minutes left to go. This enthralling encounter, I think it's fair to say. This is a really, really entertaining game between two solid sides.
It is, and you know, those.
Dan Gallagher with a good ball through. Nicky Wheeler for Dorking. Nicky Wheeler. That's a good ball through, and it's well dealt with by the Hampton defence, although it's gone. And Luke Ruddock there. Ooh, that was close, but that's good. It's a very, very well contested game, this is, Rob. I've been really impressed with both teams. You know, there's you could pick holes in both teams, I think, in terms of the way that the game has been played so far. You know, both teams, I think, have been guilty of a few errors here and there, but it's been a very well contested game, I think it's fair to say. And I think that, you know, there's been some really, really good challenges. Yes, there's been some fouls along the way, and there's been 2 or 3 yellow cards brandished, but it's been a very, very entertaining and well battled and well fought game for me so far.
It has, and I mean, for those of you who are watching the stream this afternoon and don't have any affiliation to either club, it's going to be a great game for the neutrals like yourself.
Kyron Farrell mopping up here, but there's a good header there, and Sam Cox has done well to pick that up and knock it forward, but it's knocked straight back towards the Hampton goal, and Dean Inman has done very well. In true Dean Inman fashion, no nonsense, dealing with the ball, dealing with the danger at the back for Hampton. Hampton's number 4, Hampton's trusted centre-half. HRBFC legend Dean Inman, doing what he does best.
Yeah. I mean, it's curious the fact that, you know, in the time he's been here, you know, came through the ranks here at Beveree, has made his name elsewhere, and now he's coming back and doing it back home.
Dorking on the attack once more, but it does go out for what looks, it is Dorking throw. Hampton on the back foot, Rob, the last few minutes, I think it's fair to say, as the ball does break and and it's a bit of pinball in there, and again the ball goes forward, and Alan Julian, well, that is a fantastic effort there from Nicky Wheeler. And Julian, you shouldn't underestimate the quality of that save, because that ball has gone through a number of players. He's seen that pretty late, and he's got down fantastically well to his bottom right and done excellently to knock that ball, push that ball out.
Yes, I mean, that's the kind of save that, you know, Alan Julian will think that he's there and being paid to make. And with strong hands like that, it was it was always going to be going out.
Oh, and Nico Muir has done very well to win that ball back, and Sam Hauser's got to deal with it, but Ryan Gondo has... Well, the referee, is he pointing to the penalty spot, or is he pointing to the... He is pointing to the to a goal kick. For a split second there, I thought he was pointing to the penalty spot. That was very bizarre.
It was. I mean, it was one of those challenges that sometimes, if it's mistimed, that the keeper can end up, catching the player.
To be fair, I mean, Gondo's won the ball. There's no question about that. And in the ref's eyes, and he's probably got that right, Gondo's won the ball. Sam Howes didn't foul him, and it went out for a goal kick.
Yeah, exactly. And, we're just going to have a short...
Yeah, he looks like he could be in a bit of trouble here, Rob. I think it might be...
number 8.
Is it Briggs? It's Briggs.
It's Briggs.
Yeah, Matthew Briggs. I'm sure all the Dorking fans that are tuning into this will not want to see it.
No, it's number 6.
Was it 6? I do apologise. Sorry, 6 looks... It was McManus. My apologies.
Yeah, but Hampton are making a substitution.
Yeah, I think Luke's coming off by looks of things. Luke Ruddock. It's Carvalho, I think. I think it's number 7, Carvalho. Yeah. So
this
Wilson
is going to mean a change round at the back now, and it's probably good. It's going to be interesting to see how they now line up. Because taking Ruddick off and replacing him with an attacking player like Carvalho.
It looks to me, Rob, that Rue Donaldson has dropped back into the defence, into the centre defence position to partner with Dean Inman, and he's obviously vacated the left wing, which Carvalho has slotted into. Yeah, that is what's happened. So Hampton's back four is now comprised of Farrell, Donaldson, Inman, and Sam Cox, and then you've got Wilson, Carvalho on the left, Gondal on the right, Miller Rodney and Jake Gray in the middle, and then Fisher and Muir at the top. Yeah,
I mean, for Rory Donaldson, central defence is not a position he plays too often, but he's capable enough of doing so. So, it's not that much of a stretch for Gary McCann to do that.
No, I agree. And Donaldson has played that position, as you say, before. Not too often, but he has played it before, and he's more than capable of doing the job in there. There's no doubt about that. And that's fantastic play. I think it was Nico Muir, if I can see that correctly. It's quite far away from us, but good pressure by Muir there to force the throw in. As Hampton look to capitalise on his attacking position. Wilson Carvalho fouled there by the Dorking midfielder. It's a quick free kick. Inman plays it out to Ryan Gondo, number 14, on the wing for Hampton. It's well marshalled by the Dorking defence. Miller Rodney wins the ball back. Gondo. He does well, Gondo. Still with the ball, and it's a looped ball in, and it's the strength of the Dorking defender there did. Unfortunately for Hampton, David Fisher. I say he's pushed off the ball. That sounds a bit strong, but the Dorking defender stood firm and did very, very well to allow the ball to guide over out for a goal kick. But that's a poor pass out from the Dorking defender, and Hampton immediately get the ball back into the final third of play. And Nico Muir with some excellent hold-up play once more. Good ball across to Kyron Farrell. Ryan Gondo is going to keep this in. Carvalho. No, Carvalho's... Sam Cox has done very, very well there. Good ball out. Dean Inman. Dean Inman with the pass across field. Good ball. David Fisher. And it's well defended by Dorking.
Yeah, that was quite clever there by David Fisher. Instead of trying to ping it to the back post, he played a short, fast one to the feet of Nico Muir, and that's the kind of cross that Nico quite loves to get on the end of. But thankfully, for Dorking, there was a player there to make sure that he didn't.
Yeah. Ryan Gondo for Hampton. Gondo. Shooting opportunity for Gondo, and it's a great... Oh, well, that's a fantastic shot from Ryan Gondo, and very, very well dealt with by Sam Howes.
And Sam Howes will definitely be demanding of his defence. Why wasn't Ryan Gondo closed down? I mean, when you look at it again, he's got so much space. He's running into space, and the shot finger-tipped over there by Howes. He needed to, because the minimum that would have clattered the crossbar.
Yeah, I think he would have expected to have saved that, Sam Howes, nonetheless. Yeah. But it was a good stop. Don't get me wrong, but corner kick for Hampton. And Rutherford has tried to knock. That has gone out for a Hampton corner kick. Wilson Carvalho. He's left it for Kyron Farrell. Hampton and Richmond 1, Dorking 1. Just approaching the 80-minute mark. 10 minutes plus injury time left of this National League South encounter between two solid sides. Good ball across. And the far post. And, whoa, how's that not gone in? That is David Fisher has had his effort blocked by the Dorking defence. That is fantastic defensive play there. The defender's got his body on the line and done excellently to...
when you look at it, the ball's going well about the box. There was chances, 2 or 3 chances, and yet they managed to keep the ball out.
Farrell again with the ball across, but well defended by Dorking. I've said that a few times today. It's a handball by Rue Donaldson. Yeah, good defending. I've been impressed with the Dorking defence, Rob. I have to say they've pretty much dealt with everything that's been thrown at them so far, bar the goal.
Yeah, and they're definitely showing again that at the back you're going to have to be very good to try and get past him.
Briggs has turned. He's into the box here, and he's going to be disappointed with that pass. But what a turn of pace by Briggs again. He's been, for me, Rob, he's been one of the best players on the pitch, Briggs. He's got a fantastic turn of pace. He really has, and it's caught Hampton out a few occasions today. He's caused us some bother.
He has, and not only has he got the turn of pace, he's also got the ball control skills to actually kill you with it. He's very good on the ball. He's got the pace to be able to give full-backs headaches all day long.
Yeah.
And you're definitely seeing why a lot of clubs from high in the EFL pyramid were looking at him a few years ago. We're looking at there's players who would love to be in his position.
Oh, and he's done. Jake Gray's done very well there. Jake Gray for Hampton. Hampton's number 10. Good ball out to David Fisher, who's just... it's gone out. He's going to be disappointed with that, David Fisher. Yeah. It looked like he either took a heavy touch or it bobbled slightly, but unfortunately for Hampton, that was a good opportunity wasted there.
In some respects, actually, the pace from Jake Gray was just a little... I think it caught him out fractionally, to be honest, because Jake Gray, it wasn't a side foot pass; it was a solid pass, and I think the pace was just a little bit too much for him.
Yeah. Wheeler. Rutherford. Well defended by the Hampton, and that Jake Gray's just taken Jake Gray's taken a bit of a knock there.
He has.
That looked like that was a bit of a dead leg, and he's hobbling, trying to run that one off. That was Farrell. Fisher. David Fisher trying to unlock, and it's a good ball across, but there's not too many Hampton players in there, Rob.
Yeah, there's nobody there who's actually taking a gamble. Some of the best goal poachers in the world would have been, putting pressure and taking a gamble, but we weren't there.
No, exactly. That looked like a Hampton throw to me, but the referee's given it in the opposite direction on the guidance of his linesman, and it's a Dorking throw-in. in the Hampton half. Both teams looking to get the opportunity to get the winning goal here, and that ball does go out for a Hampton goal kick. 83.5 minutes on the clock. Probably about 7 or 8, maybe 9 maximum to play.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Gary McCann decides that there's time for one more substitution to try and unlock it. I mean,
your obvious candidate is Minas for me.
Yep.
You know, if you're going to go out, if Gary's going to be at the view, this is one we can win, then it's Minas. But you also look at it in the other way. Do you bring on Christian Smith to sort of sit in the midfield and and perhaps protecting the draw? Is the right thing to do. Yeah. I don't know.
And then your possibility is, if you're going to try and protect the draw, the one you would possibly try and think to cover would be Jake Gray, given the fact he's just taken a knock. He's not moving as freely as he was.
That looked, yeah.
So that would be, again, one possibility. If you're going to try and protect the game, Jake Gray, you'd want to try and protect him, given the fact he's been knocked.
Dean Inman with a good challenge at the back, but it does go out for a Dorking corner. Yeah. And as we say that, plenty of Dorking bodies strolling up into the Hampton penalty box. This is a good opportunity for Dorking here to try to get that winning goal.
Yeah, I mean, they've sent nearly everybody forward. There's just the usual 2 covering defenders on the halfway line. There's likes of Wheeler hovering, lurking on the edge of the box.
Yeah, the referee, that was a foul on the goalkeeper.
So it looks like Gary McCann will make a change at some point. It looks like, the way I'm looking at it, I'm just wondering.
That's Coleman, isn't it?
It looks like it's Zach Coleman.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting choice there by Gary. To thinking, perhaps, Matt.
That's $1 million question, because I mean, based on Ryan Gondo's performance, there's no way I'd be taking Ryan off. I think the Hampton number 14 has had a fantastic game. Obviously, Carvalho's on the other wing. He's only just come on.
Jake Gray?
You might have called it, Rob.
Yeah,
Jake Gray, perhaps.
Might be Jake Gray, just again on the basis of the fact he's taken it off.
And that's a great defence there by Ed Harris. And the ball is knocked through. Sam House does well there to relieve any pressure for Dorking. Gondo chasing this down for Hampton, and it's very, very good defending once again by Harris for Dorking.
I have to admit, that was great play there by Ryan, chasing down his own header.
Jake Gray for Hampton. Yeah, and the ball just went out right in front of us. That did go, I think, as the linesman correctly points out. But it definitely is Razak Coleman coming on, and it's David Fisher. Okay, yeah, we forgot about Fisher, Rob, because obviously he's in a bit of a further advanced position for Hampton. So Razak Coleman is just about to enter the field of play for Hampton. Hampton's number 21, Razak Coleman. He's not had, by his own admissions, I think, enough. Well, there's 2 factors really. He's not really had a huge amount of game time this season so far, and that's through no fault of his own. I mean, some of our wingers have been our better players this season. So, Razak is coming on here for the final sort of 3, 4, 5 minutes or so. He's got a point to prove, Raz, and perhaps now's the time to do it.
Yeah, I mean, he's not got long to do it, but he's fresh. He's going to be able to put pressure on. Yeah. Looks like he's sitting in midfield anyway.
Header by Kennedy. Sam Cox, good defending for Hampton. As Callum Kennedy takes the throw in for the visitors. Thank you to all 700 of you that are tuned in to this stream today. Very much appreciate it. Hope you've enjoyed it. In what has been a very, very good game. And Wilson Carvalho for Hampton, he just gets stuck under his feet. But the ball does unexpectedly break in Hampton's favour, and Razak Coleman, fresh pair of legs over the far side, hunting that down. Oh, and Sam Howes has had an absolute shocker there. He's the ball is either bobbled or he's miscued that, but nonetheless he was lucky he made amends pretty well. But
he had to do, because if he'd lost the ball there and it had gone into the back of the net, there would have been he would have looked at the
I think by his own admissions, when Sam was with us, I think his kicking was always not perhaps the best part of his game, but a fantastic goalkeeper. But the ball and opportunity for Hampton again, and Sam Howes in the Dorking goal, very, very capable goalkeeper, of course. Anyway, going back to the, I'm just looking at, you've got Dean Inman, you've got Wilson Carvalho, Rue Donaldson, Raz Coleman, Muir, all in the box for Hampton. And it's well dealt with once again by Dorking, and Sam Cox has got to win this. Rutherford. And the referee has allowed play to come on, and Dorking didn't get any advantage out of that, Rob.
No, they didn't, and that was actually quite good play there by Sam Cox. Didn't do enough to foul the player, but he did enough to make it uncomfortable for
Gondo for Hampton. Carvalho, he just lets it run past him, and disappointingly for Hampton, the ball breaks clear, and Dean Inman with a great covering challenge by Dean Inman, and the ball breaks to Ryan Gondo, and the referee is going to pull. The referee has given that. That's a foul. That's a foul on Gondo. But God, Rob, enthralling final few minutes, and I'm looking over the far side. 4 minutes of injury time to play. I don't quite know where the referee has got 4 from, must admit.
Well, it's curious because the trainer has not been on for either team at any point.
I'm confused by that one, Rob.
And like I said, there's only been 3 substitutions that he in charge for 30 seconds to, because there was 2 at half time. So, so where he's found 2 minutes from, I don't know, but 4 minutes in total. He's obviously thinking there's a bit of time wasting.
Yep. Inman. Carvalho. Oh, that's not the right pass. That's not the pass. Gray. Gondo. Ryan Gondo for Hampton. Twisting, turning. Good ball through. Coleman. Coleman with the shot for Hampton. He's just pulled it wide.
Well, there was
good effort.
Definitely a good effort. He had the pace on that. He'd spotted where the goal was, and also spotted that Sam Howes wasn't quite in the position that he would, want to be in. And the shot, for all its power, it was, yes, it was a good yard or so wide, but it was still, a good opportunity there for the Beavers.
hrbfc.live for any donations, any last minute donations that any of you fancy making would be highly, highly appreciated. hrbfc.live. Anything you can spare to help us continue to bring this live stream to you free of charge for the foreseeable future would be highly, highly appreciated. Thank you, everybody. And the ball is through, and it's Rue Donaldson for Hampton at the back. Long ball up from Donaldson. Harris with a good header. Man of the match, Rob. Let's do a man of the match on both. Let's do best players on both sides. Then we'll do an overall man of the match.
I think for Dorking, we've both been impressed by Briggs. Matthew Briggs, definitely been impressed by him. Wes Fogden's been quiet. He's had spells, but he's not really done the kind of influence of the game that he usually would expect to have. I think I would still stick with Matt Briggs as far as on the Dorking side.
Yeah, I think I'd go along with that, Rob. I suppose Kane Wills I thought was excellent in the first half. Bit of a mysterious substitution by Dorking for, I'm sure that there must have been some sort of either an injury or a tactical change for Dorking, but I thought Kane Wills was excellent, and of course he had that fantastic opportunity to score that rattled the Hampton post. I think for Hampton, I think Ryan Gondo's had an excellent game for Hampton. Would probably be my shout from the Hampton perspective. Gondo's looked good, and we'll pause on that for a minute because the ball is through here for Hampton on the far side. and Carvalho and Ryan Gondo has got the ball on the edge of the penalty box and he's hooked it back in, but it's come off of Nico Muir. And, well, I think Gary will be expecting us a bit better there. But anyway, Ryan Gondo once again for Hampton. Donaldson, Cox, Miller Rodney, and it cannons off, and there's a fantastic save by Sam Howes. Well, we know how good Sam Howes is. I mentioned a few minutes ago about how good Sam Howes is as a goalkeeper, in particular a shot stopper, and well, I mean he's done his side proud there.
I mean the ricochet off Nico Muir. You know, he had to change direction because he was already going to his left. He had to turn round and fling himself to his right to get a hand on that.
Who would have claimed that goal, Rob?
Nico would definitely have claimed that goal. Oh yes, even though it was definitely on target.
Dean Inman with the header. Oh, and it's gone wide, and the referee blows the final whistle on what has been a thoroughly entertaining game of National League South football. It's Hampton and Richmond 1, Dorking Wanderers 1. I think that it's fair to say, you know, both teams actually, both teams would say that game was there to be won, I think, Rob.
Yeah. You've got to look at it, which team's going to think that it's a point gained, which team's going to think of it as 2 points lost. I think in the scheme of things, both teams will think they could have won it.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But both teams will, you know, take the point that's on the board. It's one of those strange ones where, you know, Gary, he will not be unhappy at the point. He'll just be unhappy the fact that they couldn't have done more to cement the the 3 points, and they'll definitely be unhappy with the way the goal came about.
I think you're right, Rob. I think you're absolutely spot on. You know, both teams will be, in fact, looking at the body language of both sets of teams. They actually both look relatively dejected, which to me, you know, to my mind, sort of says it all. I think that the game was there for the taking for both sides. Interestingly enough, and you know, Dorking number of opportunities throughout the game, but you know, the last sort of 10-15 minutes, some real sort of periods of sustained pressure. You know, from Hampton, which has unfortunately for the Beavers led to us not quite being able to finish it off. But you know, 1-1 probably a fair result, and I think we are back on camera.
Yeah, and when you think about it though, and
I think we've got Gary. Can we turn the? We're going to just try to get Gary on camera here.
I mean, quickly before we start the interview with Gary, the one positive of that result is the fact that over the bank holiday and over the Christmas weekend, that has been 4 points out of 6 for the Beavers.
Teams, I compliment our own team because that's our third game in 7 days after having 21 days break, and I don't think enough can be said about that. There's been 3 games in the last week and we've played in all 3 of them. I don't think there's anyone in the division that's done that, and on the back of the break we've had, that took a big effort. I feared the last 30 minutes. There was no question with some of the players after playing maximum minutes, it was going to be tough, but I couldn't have asked any more of them again. I said that in the second half against Dulwich. We had to ride it out against a very good team, but then we come again. And then we've had the 2 or 3 opportunities in that last 5 or 10 minutes. Where we found that energy from and fitness from is it beggars belief. And I can't ask any more of what my boys are giving me there. I'm really proud of them.
And nice to get the point at home as well. I mean, obviously Dorking on the solid side.
Yeah.
They're going to be pushing this season. There's no
for sure.
About it. The home form has been a bit iffy, and we've got that point.
I've said that. I mean, there's been a couple of disappointing home performances. The others have been on the balance. We spoke about this as a management team. We have got to make this more of a fortress. But when you dress it down and you look at the games, we've been pipped against the decision against St Albans. We shouldn't really have lost the game against Dulwich. There's been a lot of near misses at home. Yeah. There's only been maybe 2 disappointments. That was Hemel for sure. Yeah. And obviously the game against Eastbourne. The others have been really close contests, and today was, as I've just said, a proper game of football.
I thought there were some solid individual performances out there today as well. I mean, my personal view, I thought Gondo was excellent on the wing. Nico was looking good up top, but there was a lot to take. I thought Fisher had a good game. I mean, what do you do moving forward? I mean, there's a lot of players out there that are playing some, putting the hard yards in, right? And
I think look, they're playing to potential at present. But it's my job to improve them. I want goals in Fisher's game. I think he's put in 2 really solid displays. I mean, the chance that's been cleared off the line is is unfortunate. The chance that was handballed on the line on Monday is unfortunate. But his work rate and willing is clear for all to see. It was why he was picked today. It was a difficult pitch, and we knew his endeavour would be appreciated by the team. Ryan Gondo flitters in and out of the game, but when he's in the game, he's nigh on unplayable.
I'd agree with that.
And he's got huge quality. Again, I want to add more goals to his game. And Nico, no different. Nico's put in 2 really solid displays. I think the penalty miss affected him. There's no question about that. But he's dealing with a lot of demons away from football, and I don't think people can fully appreciate what he's dealing with away from here. And he's really leaving it all out there. And and I'm sure there's still more to come from that front end of the pitch.
Thanks, Gary. Final word for the Beavers fans that are tuned in today. We've had 600, I think it was nearly 700 viewers today.
And that's credit to the stream. I think a lot of credit goes to Dave and the gang and everyone else, and obviously the commentary as well. But we want them back in here. We want them feeling these type of games. That was a proper game of football.
Yeah, it was good.
A cold Saturday afternoon in the Christmas period that I'm sure that the terraces would have loved. And as I say, I mean, sides that that put in that type of effort and that type of willing are appreciated from fans when they're up close. Maybe not so much from a stream. So
exactly.
I'd have loved them to be part of that today. But it's a solid point, as we've just said. 4 points from Dorking over the Christmas period.
You
I think
so
would most other teams. So it shows our potential and shows our quality, and we go again. It won't be long before they're back, the fans, and we look forward to having them back.
Cheers, Gary. Thanks very much. Well played. Cheers.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's not hard to see that Gary McCann's been, he's well happy with the performance today. Yeah, as he quite rightly said, that's three matches in a week, and the disappointing display against Dulwich notwithstanding, it's still been a good Christmas break there for the Beavers. I mean, 4 points against Dorking, is good points, and as Gary quite rightly said, not many teams will do that this season, home and away, and for them to, he'll be unhappy about where the goal came about, but he'll still be happy with, the performance from everyone. And we never really got around to actually picking our Hampton man of player of the match, did we?
We did. I thought Gondo was excellent.
Gondo was excellent.
Gary sort of alluded to him sort of flitting in and out of the match, and it is what Gondo tends to do most games, actually.
He does.
I think that the guy has got a lot of quality, and I thought he played very well today.
And defensively, the unit of, Luke Ruddick, Dean Inman, it was back together. And you could tell that Luke was a little bit rusty at times and a little bit off the pace on others. But as the game went on, he got back, into the game. He got that awareness back. He got back up to speed. And so, basically defensive pairing, as a couple, had a really good game. Again, there'll be another one that'll be unhappy about the way that the goal went in, but all in all, it's still a good team performance there for the Beavers. Good team performance.
I agree, Rob. Very quickly, how are we looking across the other matches in the National League South today?
There's been some interesting results in the rest of the National League South. I mean, at New Lodge, it's ended up Billericay 0, Concord Rangers 1. Billericay had a player sent off during that game. Up at the Melbourne Stadium, it's ended Chelmsford City 4, Braintree 2.
Really?
So
they were 2-0 down.
It was 2-0 at half-time to Braintree, so that's a big turnaround there from Chelmsford, and they're in the bottom, the bottom half. So that's a big performance by them, and that puts Braintree under a lot of pressure now as the season goes on. At Dartford, it's ended Dartford 0, Ebbsfleet 0, and finally it's ended up down at Havant with Havant winning 4-2 against Hungerford. Now that is a big scoreline because Hungerford have made a great start to the season.
Yeah, they have, and I mean, looking at the league table very quickly before we bid you all farewell, St Albans at the top of the table with 27 points. They've also only played 11 games, interestingly, so a very good start for St Albans. In second place, Dartford. Third, Hungerford. In fourth place, it's Dorking with 24 points. Fifth, Hampton, 23 points. and then obviously Hampton and Waterlooville now, who have finally made a break into the playoff positions, and only having played 10 games, that they've played sort of 4 less than Hampton and 3 less than Dorking, and they're only sort of 3 points behind Hampton and 4 behind Dorking. So
I mean, if you look at it on a points per game basis, they're actually third.
Yeah, exactly.
That just shows the kind of performance that they've had this. Yes, they've lost games. Yes, they've missed out on matches, but the matches that they've had, they've racked up the points. But I'm always a great believer in points in the bag are better than points in the air. And
I totally agree.
And so it's a case of, yes, they've got 4 matches on us. They've got 5 matches on Hungerford.
And who do we play on next Saturday?
Next Saturday we've got
Waterlooville.
No, not.
Oh, that's what this says.
No, it doesn't.
That's the 12th. That's the 12th. I blame the match secretary. This is confusing.
So
we are playing them soon, though, right?
We are playing them soon. We're playing them. In
the foreseeable future. There you go.
In the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But next week, I mean,
we're Concord away.
Concord away. We've lost the game against Slough, because they had another COVID test. So that match has been put back to the end of the month.
26th, I think.
26th it is.
Is the COVID?
So we're going to Concord Rangers next week, and Concord mid-table, not really done anything so far this season, but it's always a difficult place to go.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's always going to be difficult, and we'll still be there.
We will. Thank you, everybody, very much for tuning in. I know that a lot of you probably have sort of logged off of this now, but from everybody at the club, thank you for joining in. Those of you that are still watching and haven't donated yet, hrbsc.live for any form of donation. If it's £1, £2, £5, whatever, anything would be highly, highly appreciated to enable us to continue to bring this to your living rooms totally free of charge. Thank you for joining in, and we will see you again very soon.